I want to make a joke about a brown hole, but I can't.
You could.
I can't find one.
Oh.
I feel like it's right there, but I can't find it.
The third eye.
Yeah,
You're circling it.
your brown. Thank you.
It's right on the tip of your tongue.
I think they're like looking at us like I feel like I'm
we're
in a
gonna do
zoo.
something.
Yeah, they're like dance, monkey, dance.
Make me laugh, clown.
I did adjust a little bit.
Perfect.
It wasn't symmetrical.
That's fine.
Okay. I mean, if you need to go left and right, there's a knob on the bottom.
Oh, now there's a knob and a hole.
Yeah. Okay. Knob and a hole.
Yeah, spit on the knob first, and then
Oh, it's gonna be a blast.
What?
Is that not how it goes?
You guys are gonna get canceled real fast. Do not say that.
I tried to convince everyone to act like we were giving you an intervention when you walked in.
Oh, that would've been
And then
dope.
you immediately busted into this guilt-ridden taco thing, and it was like,
tacos.
well, that was better than my idea. I don't.
I got tacos.
Oh god,
together.
feels so much better.
Sorry, that was like a. Sorry. That's what happens when you do too much THC. That's all I'm going to say. I had a plan when I got out of my car and walked up to the door, and then by the time I got to the door, my plan was out the window, and I panicked. And I was like, I just ate tacos in your driveway.
I wish all the 30 viewers out there could have seen this. He walks in, like, hey Andy, it's great to see you. And he's like, I had tacos.
2 of them.
I had 2 tacos. And we're like, okay. He's like, I wasn't going to tell you. Like, what do you mean we're going to tell you? They're fucking tacos, man. I had tacos on Monday.
They were excellent, but what kind were they? Ground beef, soft and crunchy.
I was in a hurry. The taco trucks can sometimes take a while, and I was in a hurry. So I was like, what can he make quick? And I got those, and they were delicious. But yeah,
But the
We should have been recording.
weight that left his shoulders when he said this was so funny to
I
me.
didn't want to lie to you guys.
I kind of feel like
You
it was,
didn't even have a chance.
Yeah. I feel like it's the same like weight lifted off the shoulder of a guy coming out of the closet. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man, he was very relieved to tell us, and it was a fucking dinner. It was just dinner.
Yeah.
we weren't going to judge you.
Well, on the way here, I was
He
like,
made us feel like there was something else.
on the way here, in my mind, I was like, I know when I get there, I'm going to get out, go to the back of my truck, eat on my tailgate, hide the evidence, go in, act like everything's normal. Like I don't
Everything's normal. That's dinner.
know. And then
Well, are you on like a regimented diet that we should be knowing about?
I've been back on my diet now because I started gaining weight back.
So it was you felt guilty about eating tacos instead of.
Also, if you're a large guy, if you're overweight, then I feel like anytime you show up with food, it's easy to be like, oh, of course he showed up with food. So I didn't want that to be, oh, and he couldn't drive over here without getting tacos.
That's like the most me thing to do, though. I'd get distracted and be like, oh, tacos.
Yeah.
And I just show up at a random place with tacos.
Which, coming from Texas, like, I was driving, we discussed this, but on the drive from my house to your house, you go through a food desert where, like, and I realized once I hit that, I was like, oh, I never had dinner. I need to eat something. And I knew there was nothing between where I was and your house. So I was like, crap, there's nothing. And then all of a sudden, pulling up to a stop sign, there's just a magical taco truck on the corner. And, like, as a Texas boy, like, taco trucks, I'm all about. And, like, I didn't even think about it. My truck just turned in, and I found myself standing there.
No.
Yep, no, it was so good.
Man,
Not like this.
the mental gymnastics this entire 2 tacos took in your head, I can't imagine.
Well, so now it makes sense though, because now that I know you guys were talking about doing some kind of a prank intervention on me or whatever, like when I walked in, everybody was like, "Hi," and everybody was just looking at me, and I was like, "I had 2 tacos in the parking lot just now." Like that's all I could think to say.
It was a taco vention.
Yeah, everybody was looking at me, and I didn't want to be the guy that everybody was looking at, so I just started talking. That was all that I had on my mind.
All right, that was the best thing that happened to me today. Was the taco confession.
Yep.
Next time I'll bring tacos for everybody, and you guys can see what I'm talking about.
That's fine.
legit.
That's
And we can
fine. But
review them.
still, nobody will judge you for eating dinner.
Again, I'm not sure why I thought to hide it, but I just felt like I
sure
should
did.
probably hide it.
You sure did.
We need to go back to an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue so that I can put away some food.
You can't put away some food though. I've seen you try.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, hold on, we challenge you. The only time, so twice we've been to a Korean all-you-can-eat hot pot style buffet, and the first time I felt like we both kind of held our own, but I didn't know you that well then, so I wasn't like trying to impress. I ate till I was good, and I didn't eat any more. The second time, you said in advance, like, I'm really excited to go with you and like really put away some meat. So I went in there with, I was determined. I had a mission, and when you gave up, that was the only time I've looked down on you, Justin. I thought less of you as a man because you were like, no, I'm done. And I was like, you're kidding, right? And you're like, no, I'm done. And
The
I
dichotomy
ate that
of man.
spicy sandwich.
You did eat the spice. That didn't help you at all.
The dichotomy of man of like, I'm going to out eat you in a meat battle competition and then walk into a room and confess my 2 tacos that I ate. It's just all in the same, I don't know, 45 seconds that this is lived in.
Yep. The thing is, I did confess to the tacos, so I feel better about it. I'll sleep better tonight. Had I kept that to myself, it would have haunted me.
I should have told them about the tacos.
You guys would have gotten a text tomorrow morning. Like, I'm really sorry. I need to get this off
Guys,
my
I ate
chest.
2 tacos on the way in yesterday.
Yeah.
We would have. I wouldn't know what would have went through my head. I would have like, were they like laced or something?
No.
Did I
What-
miss a?
Well, and I didn't even tell, like, when I got, like, my whole, on the drive here, I was like, I'm going to eat on my tailgate. And when I got here, the 2 oldest daughters were in the back of your truck right where I pulled in. And I was like, shit, they're going to, like, they know. And then I just, so I,
Son of a bitch.
yeah. So I was like,
panic.
I was like, I'm just going to eat in front of them and hope they don't say anything about it. And then the littlest came out and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm eating tacos. And then the 2 middle kids come walking out and they're like, what do you got there? And I was like, fucking tacos. So, like, my whole secret of
This whole
eating the
thing just
driveway.
turned taboo.
Every time I've ever come here to record, I pull up and it's just us 3. Sometimes your wife is here and she leaves early on, but I pull up and every member of both families comes out to see me eating tacos. Anyhow, I think that was part of the reason I felt like I had
Why
to
did we
admit it.
save this for 2 hours in? That was really dumb.
I'm
This
gonna
has to
put
be
this in
put
the
in.
beginning.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
has to
no.
be put in.
I knew. I was like, if I don't mention the tacos, one of the kids later is going to be like,
We would have not thought twice about it.
Okay, thanks for telling me Andy had tacos.
They would have ratted
Also,
me
our
out.
kids would have never said anything about you eating tacos because they like eating tacos.
They do.
Well.
We go to a Mexican restaurant near our house.
Right next
On
to the
lots.
food truck.
That was the same parking lot, right?
Yeah, all the time. We go there.
The taco truck's way better than the restaurant. Just throwing that out there.
He said it.
Norma.
I did.
She's not watching this.
Norma, I'm sorry.
I've only eaten there twice, but the taco truck was better. So
You only eaten at the taco truck twice?
no, I've eaten at Chavez. Yeah,
Okay.
Travis.
not bad. It's Oklahoma Mexican food.
Okay.
She's Mexican though.
Well, she's an Oklahoma Mexican. There's a difference.
From Mexico.
I love it when there's like a masculine guy that's like, "What's up, fools?" and then like his woman calls, and he's like, "Bye," and then you get off the phone, and it's like,
Hey,
so
babe.
what's going on, guys?"
Hey, babe.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, how's it going?
yeah. The voice change when you talk to your lady is always interesting.
It's true though. I'll leave work and be like, and then Morgan picks up the phone. Hey.
Yep. I'm
What are you
thinking though,
doing?
when you're in a new relationship, say you're a teenager or in your 20s and you're in
I
a
am.
I feel like you're playing it cool at first, like, "What's up, girl?" But then something happens when they like suddenly get the advantage in the relationship, and you're like, "Hi."
No, it's because you want to set the tone. You want the tone to be set that you are not grumpy or frustrated.
Let's
or
please not fight.
Let's not have a problem. Let's have a fun night. Let's have a good night. Like, let's start this off correctly.
Set the standard for the
Yeah.
evening. We need to do our ice drop.
Ah, yes.
It's been a while since we've recorded.
I now get the sound spike thing. I started putting clips in my other podcast.
Yeah.
And after the first one, I was like, "Oh yeah, sound spike. Like that's what I'm missing."
Helpful.
This is weird.
Yeah, no, usually you just chuck an
You
ice
throw one at me.
I'll give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta make. I haven't thrown one in a while. Let's see how the aim is. Wow.
close enough.
It's cold though.
All right.
It's cold. Okay.
You count it.
1, 2, 3.
That was the most.
Like we
insane-
were like we've never taken a break.
Haven't been off for 3 months.
What is a little time off and we're all well rested?
I
We're
had
all
a-
sharp.
I had an elbow thing going
Yeah.
on early,
Yeah.
beforehand.
Hand
I was
cramps.
able to rest it.
Yes.
And it's a masturbation injury.
All right, real quick. I couldn't decide what bottle to bring, and all my bottles I've already brought, so we're repeating bottles at this point.
sure.
But in honor of one of our biggest listeners, I would say, not size wise, but he listens all the time, Darth Yoda.
Darth Yoda.
Average
Yeah.
size man.
He left a bottle at my house, and I think it was one of those like for next time I come over, but we're gonna drink it.
I'm going to make sure you have nothing left.
If I drink it all, I'll replace it. But this is his go-to, and at first I kind of laughed. This is
Salty caramel?
when he first busted it out. I was like, a flavored whiskey, like we've already done that. Like we got Screwball.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this is not bad.
It's not
This
terrible,
is
huh?
pretty-
It looks a little bit more traditional.
It's pretty
of a
decent.
whiskey.
Light cork.
Light
Yep.
cork.
So anyhow,
Light cork.
just wanted to keep some variety since we still don't have a whiskey sponsor.
Ooh, that smells like strong caramel.
It is. You can't have more than like 2 of these.
Caramel or caramel?
I say caramel.
I say caramel unless I'm being fancy, and then I say caramel.
I 100% have always said caramel, and it
Yeah.
drives my wife insane.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, so is it like if you're going to those islands and
Is there Caramel Island somewhere?
no. It's
Okay.
a completely different word. Starts with a C though, and they have
Caribbean.
yeah. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
God, that is strong.
It's Caribbean unless you're like hearing the steel drums and I'm in the Caribbean.
No, I'm Caribbean on that. The other one, though, that drives her crazy, and I mean this one pisses her off. And I kind of get it because nobody else says it except for a certain group of people, but I say aunt.
Ooh, yeah, that's odd.
And I don't know why.
If you're going to say aunt, take it all the way and say auntie.
Auntie?
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's where it is.
That is sweet, but delicious.
Incredibly sweet. So thank you, Darth Yoda.
Thanks, Darth Yoda.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Every time I see him, he asks me about the podcast. So on the first episode back, we're on. It's like he's here.
It is like he's here.
Yeah.
Speaking of, hey everybody, welcome to that GD podcast.
Didn't see you guys.
I'm joined by my friends Kyle and Andy, and I'm J Ray. It's been quite a bit of time, like I don't know, 3 months
Ish.
Christmas-ish time.
I honestly thought you guys had continued the podcast on a different channel.
We had.
And like kicked me out without me knowing. And it's like, so I started guessing names that you guys would possibly be under. I couldn't find you. So
It was 2 dudes, 1 cup.
got it. Good name.
That's
Good
definitely
name.
taken.
Yeah, definitely
That's
taken.
definitely taken.
Anyway,
So yeah. So
We
glad
just-
to be back at it. Glad to
We
be
just
back in the
shared a
studio.
whiskey cup the
This,
whole time.
real quick, this is the first time we've ever recorded, and it's light outside, and that's throwing me off. The fact that light's coming through that window is
I was wondering if the
Oh,
lighting
that's
was
true.
going to be
It was
better or worse.
winter.
yeah. It was winter and always like late at night when we were recording. This is a weird early.
I
night start.
am happy with the 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yes. And I thought that the sun going down would set the tone where we could use our low DJ voices.
Oh, baby.
Bring out the Barry White.
Yeah. I was yesterday.
Yeah.
I was talking to some people, and no, it was today. It was this morning, and a guy goes, "Hey, man, just wanted to say you're in the wrong career path. You should be in radio." And I was like, "I know. I'm not gonna face for radio." He's like, "No. Your voice is where it's at." I was like, "I don't know how to take those things."
Again, just for people that don't
heard
know you
that.
outside of here, like it's odd to me that you're this outgoing in certain situations. Because if you just meet him, he will not hardly say a word to you. He's the most antisocial guy in certain situations, and then in other moments, he turns it on. And you have the riz, as my daughter would say,
yes.
but you don't show it often. It's like you're closed for business a majority of the time that I used to see you.
I think I did it to both of you.
Yeah,
Like him, definitely.
Yeah,
when we
I-
first met.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the way we met. It was great. So our kids are on the same soccer team. Kyle is across the field at practice, and then I'm on this side of the field. We are both alienating ourselves from all of the other parents,
Moms.
moms, because soccer moms.
you
We were the
reckon-
only dads
from
there.
a distance. You were like, he doesn't like people either.
Exactly.
I like that.
I like this guy. He
Yeah.
doesn't like people. I don't like people. We're good. However, Kyle was infinitely smarter than me. I'm sitting facing the sun, sweating like profusely, and I'm watching him be a genius because he's in front of a light pole and he moved as the shadow moved. I was like, man, that motherfucker was a genius.
He must be an engineer.
Every 5 minutes or so, I just moved my chair about a
Yeah.
foot to the left. Did it all year.
Stayed in the shade.
So you guys happen way more organically. What happened with me is Kyle told me that you're not friendly with people, and I took that as a challenge. I was like, we'll see about that.
I was just saying, like, hey, you're gonna have a tough start.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that you can't be friends. Like, no, he's my friend.
No, yeah.
You can't be friends.
I didn't mean to make it sound that way. No, but he was just like, yeah, it takes a while for Justin to warm up to people. And if he doesn't seem warm to you at first, well, you kind of were giving me that warning. And then I was immediately like, oh, I'm just going to pester this guy.
Yeah, you're going to come over and be annoying. Did you just taste it?
Yeah.
First time?
Yeah.
He loves it,
licking
Chris.
a bottom of a grandma's purse that's had melted weathers in it.
Werther's, yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say this. That's the exact thought of like taste I had was like salty caramel, Tennessee, Old Smoky.
So when given the
Werther's.
option of screwball or this.
Still waiting for the whiskey taste.
Yeah, it's a lot of caramel.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'd even say it's a bit of caramel.
What's funny, so I enjoy these as like a single cup here and there. I sat there and watched Chris drink however much is missing out of that bottle. I was impressed that he kept going. I was like, I can't do that with
nothing
the
with
sweet
it?
drinks. No, he was just drinking that. And I think he was drinking it neat. I'm not 100% on that, but anyhow.
I mean, okay,
He's
if,
more of a man than I am.
if that is how his beard became as glorious as it is, I will drink this
Okay.
regularly.
I do think that he ended up purchasing this because we had Screwball on the show. If I remember the story correctly, we influenced him to try a flavored whiskey, and he stuck on this. If I'm getting that wrong, he can leave a comment.
Yes.
So,
It's made in the mountains of Tennessee.
and he's from Tennessee, so I think there's a little bit of that.
Caramel Mountains.
Yeah, the Caramel Mountains. Which, real quick, and I've taken shit from my wife for this for the entire time I've known her. But how do you guys say ruined?
Ruined. No, I'm just
Because
kidding.
because it's definitely an Oklahoma thing to say ruined.
So I say ruined.
Ruined.
You ruined it. And like every time I say it, she turns and gives me that look.
That seems a little fancy.
I don't mean to. It's just how I've always said it. My drink is ruined. Is that not right?
Ruined.
Yeah, that sounds very 00.
Yeah, I can't say it correctly. If I say it correctly, I sound like I'm being too fancy. It is ruined.
I struggle saying yesterday
Yesterday?
because I really want to like almost put like a ch yesterday.
Yesterday?
So I have to really slow it down. It's almost like a lisp thing that comes out. It's
Okay.
like yesterday.
I can't say rural.
Rural.
Rural?
Yeah.
Like, I have to call the rural water district for my water here.
They purposely made that hard,
Yeah.
especially for people who live in rural areas.
And I'm Asian.
Oh.
It's hard to
Rural.
say. It's hard to say "rrr" and sound like you're not making fun of Asians.
Right. Like, oh, look at rural guy over
Yeah.
there.
That's hard.
You know,
That's what. Do you guys at our ages, and we're all adult men now with children, do you guys have any words that like you ever throw out a word and it's 50-50? You're like, this might not be the right word for this. And you just throw it out hoping.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I do it at work still.
Every time I say, and I'm going to say it wrong here, but like a pastor at a church, a pastor. And every time I say it,
Don't say
my,
pastor.
My stepdad
That's
will be like,
beef.
"You mean like cows in a pasture?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I said it wrong clearly, but I don't know what the right word is for that." And I always just guess at it.
Pastor is a
pork.
Is that pork?
Yeah, the pastor, yeah.
Al pastor is pork.
And a pasture is where cows are.
Yes.
How do you say the guy at a church?
Pastor.
Pastor.
Say it again.
Pastor.
Pastor.
Pastor, like an ER.
Yeah, you
Pretty
say it like
much.
an ER, but it has
Okay.
an OR.
Every time I have to say that, like as I'm saying it, I'm like, "Oh shit," and then I just say something.
But I'm pretty sure that you could go to almost any part of the United States and you're going to hear pastor.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. Hold on, wait. No, I just had a thought. You said now that you're an adult, you say it wrong.
I've
So when
always
you
said
were
it
a
wrong.
kid, was it like daddy?
No, so I grew up Catholic, so it was father.
grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
More, sir?
It was Father. I had Father Johnson at my church, who was an alcoholic. There was a Mexican place across the street from our church, and if you went there any day of the week, you'd find him at the bar smoking cigarettes and tanked. And it was like laughing, like the families would see him and be like, "Oh, there's Father Johnson again. He's all tipsy at the bar," just all the time. And then we had like deacons and stuff. I don't think, and I could be horribly wrong on this, but I don't think Catholics use the word pastor at all. I think it's a father and a deacon and
Priest.
a priest. Thank you.
Daddy.
Yeah,
If you're a 12-year-old boy, you call him daddy.
yeah. My abuser.
Yes, may I have another?
Or lubricant, please.
Anyhow.
It could not have been better for you to say I grew up Catholic when I made that stupid
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
It was
That's
perfect.
what this is going to sound terrible, but like I've been wanting to get back into religion. I haven't gone to church in a number of years, and like all that I know is I'm not going to a Catholic church. Like every other one, I'm open to hear about, but like I will not be a Catholic church. And I didn't go to church for like a solid 10 years, and then at one point, my wife's friend, we had a funeral to go to for one of my wife's friends, and I didn't even notice walking in that it was a Catholic church. And we sat down, and they immediately like started a full-on Catholic mass like before the funeral. And like as they would do the call outs, like I instinctively remembered like what to say back. But as it was happening, I like from a fresh set of eyes, having not gone in 10 years, I was looking around and I was like, this is a cult. Like this is 100% a cult.
I mean, the
Like,
chants, everything. Yeah.
everybody knew when to kneel, when to stand. We all sang this. It's odd. But when you grow up on it, it's normal. And then when you step in after years off, it's just like, oh wow. So
Do you have names for the certain church stances that people take during like the music and all that? So I have the holding a TV.
okay.
I have
Like that?
I have the Iron Man.
Okay.
There is the roller coaster on the way down. You got the two hands up. I feel like there's some more, but I
I feel
can't
like
remember them off the top
when
of
you
my
say
head.
roller coaster, I'm picturing a black church where people are like, "Oh Jesus!"
You can go to any church
Okay.
if they're playing
Look,
music. You're going to
there's
have
gonna
somebody
see
doing
somebody,
this. There's always the person holding the TV, which cracks me up.
I feel
It's
I feel like in reality, like if I could pick any church to go to, I would most like to go to a black church because from what I see in movies and TV, they appear to be the only ones celebrating. I would say
That's fair.
And the problem is, I know one black guy in Oklahoma, and he invited me to his church, and it's the Catholic church downtown. I'm like,
Welcome to
yeah,
Oklahoma.
it's the only one I don't want to go to.
Yeah.
So, anyhow,
I don't know. Gary Owen talks about that a lot.
Really?
Like they're a lot of fun, but they go on forever.
see, I
The
got,
hug.
I got stuff to do.
The hug.
The hug. But you have to have. It's got to be a slow day on church because you got to have some berth to really stretch out.
Some birth or girth?
I just want to see, like, you know, the
Wide berth.
Okay, yeah.
birth? Yeah,
gotcha.
wide birth. Yeah. Girth is, you know. Anyway, so
When you said girth,
No,
you went
it's
really
not.
small. What's going on over there? Sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say. The
Wide berth?
No, never mind. Not that important.
Then there's always that one person who just starts speaking in tongues randomly.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I've seen
Throws me
videos of
off.
that. I've never seen it in person.
I've seen it in person, and I was like, "You are not. That's not happening to you right now."
Yeah. There was a couple like televangelist people on TV back in the day that like I remember on Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, whatever it was, would like start doing the in tongue. It creeped me out. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Anyhow.
I had never seen that in person until I came to Oklahoma and went to a Pentecostal church. And then, like, a person fell out. They fell out in front of us, like in the front row.
They fell out.
And I was thinking, like, is someone going to help this guy? And all they did was walk up with a little blanket and put it over them. And
Oh, wow.
okay.
That reminds me of a story.
Let me hear it.
It has nothing to do with what you just said, but it reminded me.
Perfect.
So those who know me, I know I'm a horse racing fan. Went to college for it and everything. First time I went to the Kentucky Derby. 15 years old.
You went to Kentucky for the Derby? Nice.
15 years old. We weren't rich people by any means. So we bought tickets to the infield. It's the cheapest ticket you can buy. Little did we know that that was like the biggest party for Louisville, the college Louisville, and Kentucky also joined in. And we had no idea. My parents, me, and my friend at 15 years old, we saw some. I mean, it's like a mini Mardi Gras. There was boobs everywhere. It was great. But I'd say it was like 30 minutes in. We're early on in the day, and this dude just passes out, standing up, passes out drunk. I mean, you've got to be real drunk to be standing up and just go down. And we're like, oh shit, that's bad. That's not good. He fell down, and we're like, I'm with my parents, and they're like, oh well, cool. There's people going to help him. That's really nice. Those motherfuckers just drew a chalk outline around him and left.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I was like, what kind of day are we in for? And then I figured it out afterwards. I got lost a lot that day
Real quick, did you just say felled down?
because he said that first when he was
Okay,
talking
just
about the
making sure.
Pentecostal church.
Yes.
Okay. You talking about the Kentucky Derby infield? I had a similar experience at NASCAR. When I was like 21, 22, some friends of mine were in a band and they were playing like a concert in the infield. Is that what they call it in NASCAR?
Yeah.
Whatever the middle
Why not?
area is.
Yeah, why not?
And it was like the night before the main race, like Saturday night. And they had extra tickets and invited me to go with them. And I was just like, what? We're going to be in the infield of a racetrack? Like, it made no sense to me. And I knew nothing about NASCAR. And
Still don't.
so it's Mardi Gras. Like, everybody, it's campers, like big RVs, and everybody brings their own golf carts. And then there's like a parade of golf carts, and there's girls flashing, and there's beads. And
Yeah, so there's a big difference in size between most horse race tracks and like a NASCAR track.
yeah.
Those things can be like 2.5 miles around. Most horse race tracks are a mile. So there's people living in there
Oh, yeah.
for the weekend.
Oh, I didn't really think about that being huge track. I don't know. Like, all you ever see him do is like turn left on TV. And
I felt like there was 100 to 150 like nice camper / RVs.
Yeah.
And apparently there's companies that will set it up for, like, a lot of those people don't even own the RVs. They just rent it for the weekend and it's already set up in there. But it's a party every night. So if you ever get a chance to go to the infield of a NASCAR event, like on one of the evenings, do it.
do it.
Have
Yeah.
you ever been to a NASCAR race?
Been to like 2 or 3. When they
been
opened
to
Texas
2.
Motor Speedway when I was in like junior high, I got
I've been
go.
to Texas and I've been to Phoenix, whatever they call them.
The biggest thing I'll tell you,
Yeah.
and you experience this, but like when they do the gentlemen start your engines, like, you know, when you stand too close to a speaker at a concert and you can feel it in your body.
Dude, it is so loud.
The whole race, your body's just reverberating from the engines of the cars that are way down there. Like it sounds like there's a jet
It
flying
is
overhead.
so loud.
Yeah.
So, ladies, go.
They'll have a blast.
Yeah.
No, anyhow, you guys been doing anything fun with your lives over the past? Has it been like 3 months? Where are we at?
It has been 3 months.
Has been 3 months.
November, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
4 months.
Jeez.
Almost April.
Yeah.
So almost 5 months.
No, we'll say 4.
4 months.
4 months.
I think there's several people that didn't believe me when I said, "Oh, you know, it's coming back. We're going to do it again."
Yeah.
So this will be a shock. to some
You
people.
know, so like I'm remodeling the house, and that's going incredibly slow because I had to go out of town a lot,
Traveling for work. Yeah.
traveling for work. Then I got chickens.
I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. You got your kid and all that stuff.
I have 2.
2 kids, but they have all their things I don't know, man. Like there was one, we got quail again, a bunch of quails. And I came home one day from work. My kids were like, ordinarily, they're like, hey, come look at the quails. They're so cute. They grow a lot. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go look at the quails. I came home on a Friday and they said, hey, Dad, come look at the birds. And I stopped and I said, you said that differently. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you usually say, come look at the quails. Today you said, come look at the birds. And they're like, oh, yeah, we got chickens.
Shit, run.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what their face said.
While you were gone, we got some things.
I was in town. So
Yeah, no, that happened. It's just
we got 10 chickens. So now I have like quails and 10 chickens. Those 10 chickens turned into 20.
I was gonna say there's 20
Yeah.
chickens.
There are 20 chickens now.
I'm guessing one of them is a rooster.
No roosters that we know of yet. We need to get a rooster.
I was gonna say, how are they multiplying without a rooster? I don't know a lot about how chickens work,
So
but-
we got
Just
chicks.
simple addition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not multiplying.
There was no multiplication.
Got it.
We got the chicks.
Okay.
And then my wife said someone in one of the small towns here in Oklahoma is selling chickens, $12 a piece or $15 a piece. But if you buy 10, they're 12. And so another family, they're taking 4 of them.
Okay.
So we've got 6 of ours, but their coop's not built yet. So I'm reaping the benefits. They're pretty much pooping gold out every day. We got 11 eggs today.
Nice.
So that's almost, what, $7?
Okay.
Because
Good work.
They're free range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, this is something that I didn't really know. There is 100% a taste difference between an egg that got laid like yesterday and the egg you buy at the store. They're so much better.
I'm guessing you're keeping them out of the fridge, just on the
they're
counter. Okay, yeah. That's what I don't know. My thinking is because I don't believe this at all, but the eggs I buy at the store are free range, cage free. You know,
Why are they all white?
the ones I get are brown? But
Okay,
either
still.
way,
They're one single color. These eggs are not all one. They're all different color. Like they're
like blue and all that fun. Yeah,
I don't even blue
They're not
ones.
blue, but
I've
they're
got
different shades
different
and
shades of
stuff.
brown.
I like the blue ones.
So-
But I've always wondered because like the ones you get from a farmer's market or from your backyard now that sit on the countertop, you're right, they taste different. But I wonder if that's the egg itself or once you put it in the fridge, does something start to happen to the egg that causes?
I think all the stuff they have to do to it to make the eggs white or make them all uniform colors and all that stuff that they
Yeah.
put them through. And they're like 3 months old by the time they hit
Yeah.
the shelves.
By the time they get to like the grocery store, they're already 3 months old.
Gotcha.
I think also what you feed them affects
I can see that.
the flavor of the egg.
For sure.
Which we're gonna get meat chickens, and so I'm gonna be like these guys are getting cayenne and garlic powder and onion powder because I is pre-seasoned to my meat.
Gotcha.
Here's your garlic and
Eat whole cloves of
come here, paprika.
Just feed them some butter too.
some butter. Yeah, butter them up. Baby, I'm gonna butter your bread.
But I always liked eggs, but now I'm kind of eating a lot of eggs. I also have them.
Yeah.
But
For the past year and a half, I've been on a egg heavy diet, and I love it. Like it's honestly, I think I heard Joe Rogan one time just say like eggs are little balls of protein, and for some reason that clicked in my head, and I was like, oh, protein. I like eggs, and now I eat eggs a lot.
Yeah, I think I've had 20 in the past 2 days.
Okay, I don't eat that much.
that's a lot of eggs.
I had 5 for breakfast and lunch.
But you admit they taste better.
They do.
Yeah.
They're
they do
so much
way
like smoother. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it does taste better, dude. I've got 2 eggs over there that are not the same size as the rest. That poor chicken that had to lay these eggs, they are like golf ball. Like it's like you're looking at a baseball and a softball.
What's the name of when they cut on a woman during childbirth and they cut the
Episiotomy.
Yeah,
Yeah, this chicken needed an episiotomy. I
Okay.
pulled it out of a tree stump. Since we have the chicks, these hens don't really like the chicks.
Okay.
So when I get here in the morning, I'll go over and let them out and roam around, which means they don't have time from like sleeping to go into their nesting boxes and lay the eggs. So it's quite literally an Easter egg hunt every day.
Gotcha.
I found one under my porch. There was like 4 underneath a bench over there.
You're gonna start mowing over them in the
yeah.
summer. You're gonna know. At first, you're gonna be like, "What's that sound?" And then you're gonna know the sound of running over an egg. Yeah. Have you? This is a weird topic. Have you guys ever seen a male chicken and a female chicken go at it?
No.
So
It's a weird topic. You are correct.
Sorry.
I can imagine what it would look like.
it's
They don't do missionary, do they?
it's non-consensual is the best way I could say it.
Oh.
So a buddy of mine in high school, there's a Seinfeld episode where they talk about cockfighting. Little Jerry is So we were all stuck on that for a while, and we kept joking about how we're going to have cockfights. None of us really thought we were going to do it, except for one of my friends who thought we were all dead serious.
That's awesome.
His name's Clint. I hope he sees this. But like one day after school, he was like, "You guys need to come over and see my cock." And we were like, "Excuse me?" And
Come on.
We went over and he legit like went to the feed store after school and had one, and he had it in a cage, and he was spraying it with a water hose, like with high pressure to like get it mad, to, you know, get it angry.
There's a lot of illegal shit happening here.
A lot.
Are you sure? Okay. All right.
And apparently
Statute
He
of
was just giving it a
limitations.
bath.
his parents were upset
Statute.
immediately about this, but they put it in a cage like right outside his window. So like every morning, 5 a.m. it's going off. And then his dad ended up buying hens to go with it, and suddenly now they're the family that has like 30 chickens. But we'd go over there and sit at night and be like having cigars and drinks. And we would, the only cock out there, his name was El Presidente. He had a very magnificent like red beard, and he was very sexy. Sexy.
Okay.
We
Sexy
can piece
cock.
part of this together, right? We
Yeah.
can cut certain parts of it.
I'll
and
just say
like,
sexy cock, so we're all clear. Perfect. Anyhow, but we would be sitting there, and all of a sudden, like on a whim, he would decide he wanted some, and they would like the chickens were fighting for their lives to not have this happen, and he would always win, and it was a fight almost. The first time I was like, oh God, he's attacking them, and it's like, no, he's getting his, and
But he was attacking.
he had a stamina. I don't know what the word is. He could go every 10 minutes all night
I'm
long.
gonna call that stamina.
Yeah, it was
Is
amazing.
he part rabbit?
I guess, I don't know, but watching the El Presidente do his thing was always impressive to me. And so anyhow, once you guys get a rooster, your kids will get to witness the
Massacre.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
The graping.
Yes,
That's one of the words you can't say on YouTube.
I learned that on my other podcast.
Did you say it?
I said it repeatedly.
Once every 5 minutes, actually.
I have my first strike with YouTube.
You got a strike?
Yeah, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You can't say that. You can say grape.
but they never told me to take it down or on it, so it's still up there. They just I don't know if it didn't ever say first strike. I got a notice from them saying that like here are some words you should avoid, and I was reading the list and I was like I don't say it. Oh right,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that one's been
That one's
said.
not good.
So the 5 times.
Which I was talking about in the context of news, like things that are happening. This is a story we got to talk about,
Yeah.
and you just can't say it. So I guess the AI algorithm will
It just
catch
reads the script and it
Yeah.
knows that you said it. It doesn't know the context in which you said it.
Yeah.
But the other day, I played a video of a tent in Gaza, or a whole group of tents getting destroyed by a missile, and I was as soon as I uploaded, I was like, "This is gonna get a thing," and so far it hasn't. So I'm like, "All right, cool,
Don't look.
yeah." YouTube ain't watching.
Don't look
this.
over there.
There were balloons and bicycles in those tents.
It was fantastic, yeah. So anyhow,
It was fantastic.
Kyle, anything good for you? Did you have some time off of sports over the winter, or were you full on with every sport?
I haven't taken time off of sports since last July. Maybe?
Is there any period of the year where both girls are like,
Pretty much like July.
okay,
Maybe. I mean, we're still practicing soccer throughout that time, but that's it.
okay? And basketball was going for a while for you over the winter.
Yep. Both girls in basketball, coaching 3 teams. And
And then Abby picked up a new sport.
yeah, she's running track now.
Ooh, what are her events?
100 and 200.
Okay.
And any of the relays that go along with it.
Nice.
She's pretty good.
Nice. You got to practice that baton handoff. Stick.
They did drop it in the first.
Yep.
They
Like this, right? This is the
they-
motion.
It's all about communication, though. You got to say stick, and that's when they know it's coming.
They still got the bronze and dropped it.
Okay.
So
nice.
they probably would have won. And she in the individual, she silvered in the 200 in individual.
Nice.
So,
So
there's like 8 schools there. So it's pretty good.
You guys are both coaching now. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm coaching Letty's soccer team.
Nice. You guys have the coach pants yet, like the shorts?
No.
come
I think that's like in softball.
Got them? There you go.
Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah.
I feel like any coach can have them. You got to wear like a collared shirt with the tucked in like short baseball
Yeah,
pants.
that's straight up basketball coach right there.
It is,
Just,
yeah.
Or just gym teacher that you don't want to change in front of.
I'm coaching 5-year-olds.
I'm coaching 9-year-olds.
How many of them have you made cry so far?
Just my child
Okay.
That's
Good work.
easier to do.
Yeah.
on Monday.
A lot easier to do.
All I did was say, keep the ball close to you.
Well, that was really harsh.
Did you say it once or did you say it repeatedly?
Thrice.
Thrice?
Get wide.
At any point did you say like, I told you to keep the ball close? Anything like that?
No, I can't. I've been keeping my cool with these
Okay.
5-year-olds. It's just, I was like, hey, keep the ball close to you because they'll steal it. And then I said, hey, try and keep it close to you. And then I said, hey, just try and keep it close to you. That's what happens is it makes it real easy for them to steal it. And Dad, I'm trying. And like, okay, well, go sit over there till you're done crying.
Dude.
Run
that-
laps.
when
Get
my
to
kids
running.
when my kids started playing softball, I was like, oh, I can teach her how to bat. I played baseball. This will be easy. And like it turned into like me and her were going at it like we had to take breaks to separate before somebody started saying stuff that they were going to regret.
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny because I ended up taking her into a place to get like actual tutor lessons, on how to swing. And I told the lady exactly what she's doing wrong. What do you got over there?
Well, it's clear. It looks like a trailer. It's really clear. It looks like a trailer hitch and kind of a butt plug.
It's a ball hitch.
And it looks like a mushroom, a button
That's
mushroom.
the advanced butt plug right there.
That-
You don't start with that one.
It goes wider instead of deeper.
Yeah, but it eventually tapers off.
It does taper off, and it will melt.
Yeah.
There is no risk
It'll
of.
get small.
There's no risk of.
You don't have to make any of those ER calls.
But anyhow, I ended up taking her in to get like real hitting lessons. And when we got there, I told the lady, I was like, hey, here's what she's doing wrong. And then like the lady watched her do 2 practice swings. It was like, let me tell you. And the lady told her exactly
Same thing.
what I was telling her. And then it was just like, oh, okay. And like within 5 minutes, everything was fixed. And I was like, apparently I had to pay $55 for a half-hour hitting lesson for her to understand that what I'm saying is correct.
That was me coaching Abby.
Yeah.
It was nothing I said would have mattered. Carter, totally different game. Everything I say, 100% takes it, listens, does it.
Nice.
I need a kid like that.
She's a pleasure to coach. She's
Letty
awesome.
is like that sometimes. I don't know. She's fine.
I will say Carter's gotten upset too, and I guarantee you I'm harder on her.
Yeah.
So what makes soccer the perfect sport for my daughter when it comes to our relationship is I don't know anything about soccer. So like she's at a point where she knows more than I do.
Kickball
So
and goal.
I can't ever be like, hey, you should have done this instead of that. Like I have no clue. Like I just at the end I'm like, all right, if coach thinks she did good, I'm happy.
There you go. And it's a good relationship.
Yeah, I don't have any comments.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do the thing. I don't know if I heard it from you guys or somebody, but it was like, how'd I do? Well, how do you think you did? And I'm trying to do that kind of instead of.
I definitely I've worked on it. No negative feedback after the game, no, unless that is a behavioral issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I will address right after the game. But if they have a bad game, you don't say.
You suck.
You might, and I've had the conversation with Abby before, an hour or two after the game, like, man, you suck today. Like, just like, yeah, okay. But I'll ask for one good thing they did and one bad thing they did. I'll ask them,
Yeah.
what's one good thing you did? What's one bad thing you did? And they know, trust me, they know when they had a bad game because they will straight up, what's one bad thing you did? Everything sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you did. But that's okay. What's one good thing you did?
I think the asking them, well, putting it on them, how do you think you did? It, from what I heard on the internets, is that it keeps the kids from seeking approval from others.
See, I think I heard
That's
this
big.
from y'all. At
That's
some
big,
point.
though.
Yeah.
I don't want my daughter seeking approval from others.
Yeah, like, are you happy with the way you performed? If not, you change that, you internalize it, you hold yourself to this different standard. You don't need someone else to validate whatever it was that you did.
What?
Go ahead.
I thought I was doing good because I would always do like it's called the compliment sandwich, but I call it the shit sandwich because compliment then shit then compliment. That's
Yeah.
Anyhow, but I would always be like, hey, you did this, you did that. You could, there are a couple times when you weren't where you were supposed to be on the backside of the goal or whatever it is. But overall, I think, and I would try to hit it that way, and I'd always in my head afterward be like, I nailed that. Like that was I was kind, but I also gave her some constructive feedback.
But
and
guess
then,
what she heard?
Well, and then I started here. I think y'all said it. Even our coach at like the preseason meeting mentioned it, and it's like crap. So I'm trying to do it the other way now. It seems to be effective, but it's not my natural. My natural thing is to try to. What did I notice that could make her better? Like I want to get that information across, but I'm leaving that to coach.
And also the difference in kids is how I'll communicate with them differently.
Yeah.
Carter had a bad game. I ain't saying shit.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying a thing. Abby's played high level sports for a long time. We could have a little bit more honest of a conversation about how the game went. She's older. Carter has a bad game.
Yeah.
Let's go get an ice cream sandwich.
I like it. 3 scoops.
I think 3 scoops. I think Amelia will hold herself she scrutinized herself much more than I ever could. Like they won a game 7-1, got in the truck, she's crying, and I was like, you guys won. What's wrong? She's like, I didn't get a shutout. I'm like, dadgum, dude. Like you guys won by 6 goals. But
I think that's how I treat my kid, but that's like even back in my old job when I was managing people. Like if I go in to tell you screwed up, and like right off the bat, I can tell that you screwed up and you feel bad about it. Like it's just gonna be real quick and painless. Like you're already where I'm trying to get you to be, so there's no need for me.
Yeah.
Whereas if you sit there and try to get defensive and act like you didn't, now I'm gonna drill into you because I want to get you to the point where you're accepting responsibility. And that's kind of where I treated my kid like that a lot, where it's like if she already is kind of down on herself, there's no need for me to add on to this.
Yeah.
But if she's like, Dad, do I get ice cream? Unless she just played a really subpar game, it's like I want to be like, well, do you really think you deserve ice cream? There were 3 different times you weren't where you were supposed to be, or whatever it is. So,
And he's got a dry erase sports scorecard on the sidelines,
Yep.
just so y'all know.
Pavlonian response of like Pavlov.
I think you said it right the first time.
Okay. Of like, no, you did not play well. You do not deserve treats. Like, okay, that really doesn't fucking matter.
no, and real
It
quick,
really doesn't matter.
Kyle, for your knowledge, the game, our only game of the year so far, you came and got to watch, and they had some big camera thing that auto tracked the kids, and that Saturday night they went over to Coach's house to watch, and I got to go over there and stand for a little bit and watch it.
Yep.
And it turns out that me and you were right under the camera talking the entire time. Now, luckily, we didn't say anything that should have been said that I heard, but like as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh wow, I can hear my voice clearly.
Oh, good to know.
And then I think I said that to somebody. I was like, all I can hear is myself. And they were like, really? All I can hear is Kyle Skinner. And then I gave a listen. I was like, okay, yeah, that's me and Kyle standing there talking. So anyhow, next time you come to, and I'm going to try to remind myself, let's take a couple steps down.
far away from the camera.
Oh, cool.
100%.
I guarantee you I didn't say anything. I was standing there with Stephanie and a couple of the other parents. I know I didn't say anything.
No, but it's
I
just
supported I was just cheering them.
It was, what's funny is it was us, or I think at one point you were talking to maybe one of the other dads, but like I could hear the conversation and it's like, what are they talking about? I'm trying to hear it. And then I could pick up on, oh, they're talking about this, or it was just random conversation.
I definitely said Caroline is off her game.
Oh, yeah. I definitely said that a few times.
Like, ooh, she doesn't
I
have
think
a
that we
touch.
were standing right next to her dad, though.
I wasn't.
I don't know if I don't know if he was near us. I don't
Okay,
know.
never mind. Well, anyhow, like I said, when I was only in there for like the last 10 minutes of the game, but during that time, the whole time I was just like, shit.
Caroline sucks
Yeah,
today.
Crapping on all the kids.
Could you hear? I remember I said one negative thing about a player that game, but I remember I turned and was like super. I think I said it to you, and I said it like quietly.
Yeah, I probably didn't say it really loud.
Yeah.
Like Caroline was not playing well.
The
She
game's-
wasn't.
The game's on YouTube.
She wasn't playing well.
So the game's on YouTube, and part of me wants to go back and watch it to see if I need to apologize. The other part of me is like, I just pretend like I don't know anything happened.
Literally never heard it.
Yeah.
Never didn't know I didn't know why did it pick up sound so well, but yeah, no, they do. And I never even thought about it. But I didn't say anything.
Let's be real. None of those parents are watching it, so we don't have to apologize to anybody.
That's true. Well, that night at the watch party, it's all the kids on the floor and then like 8 or 9 parents on the couch
I was gonna
behind
say
all
they
watching
did.
it.
They probably did.
Were
Yeah.
we the only parents who didn't stay?
No, there were several parents that dropped off.
Okay.
So
Because I wasn't going to do that.
yeah,
That sounds terrible.
I didn't want to stay, and then when I checked with you and you said you weren't staying, I was like, sweet. And then I went and mall walked with my wife, which is not as fun as mall walking by myself. I learned.
Really?
When I go walking, just trying to get my steps, like if I can put in my earbuds and listen to a podcast or whatever, like I can keep moving.
Just go.
Like
But
the
like
podcast.
she wanted to talk, so like no earbuds at all. But then she also was like, ooh, and she kept seeing things she wanted to like stop and look at. It's like I'm trying to keep a pace. I'm trying to keep my heart rate up. Like, no offense, we're not mall walking anymore, honey.
You're
So,
also like 6'5", so your steps is like probably 14 for her.
it's true.
You're probably like
Got to
16.
keep up, man.
So I don't like walking with you all the time. Like when it's super hot, if I'm in my jorts and you're like, we're going walking tonight. Oh man, I didn't wear the right athletic.
I don't
wear
like
for this.
when I'm trying to. Oh, you mean a soccer practice? Okay, I was gonna say. I was like,
we go walking at soccer practice.
yeah, you haven't been
I
there for.
haven't, dude. It's Mondays. I got Letty's soccer practice.
The,
Same time.
the only guy that's been there consistently to walk with me is a 34-year-old fireman that's in ridiculous shape, and he'll be like,
He looks
"Yeah, well,
fit.
he's like, I ran 4 miles earlier today, but I'll walk with you." And then even on the walk, like he's picking the pace up, and I'm just kind of whoa, like I'm trying to talk. And
Hey, come on.
anyhow, yeah.
Come
So
back.
I need somebody else there. I need you or John or somebody.
I'm not showing up.
So anyhow,
I'll be there tomorrow.
I'll be there tomorrow. Walking
I'm gonna wear
time.
jorts so I don't have to walk.
Right now I've got one kid playing 3 different things, so
3.
well, 2 soccer teams.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
So 2 soccer teams and the track, and it's like tonight is my free night this week. It's her free night too. Like I feel like she is exhausted sometimes.
what's funny is I looked at, we were talking on Monday about podcasting this week, and I kind of looked and I was like, okay, Wednesday I'm open. Like I can do whatever Wednesday, because that's the one night where we don't have anything as a family. And then I realized that my wife took that the other way, and she's like, hey, that's the one night we get to hang out. And I was like, sorry, it's also the one night I can go podcast. So
Yeah, I'm out.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, sorry we paused for a while. I was trying to get stuff done to where we can move into our house.
I understand. No, I told you if it was any other reason, I would have given you a hard time, but that was a good reason. Makes sense. Not carrying 2 mortgages for longer than you have to.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have a mortgage on this one.
Yay.
I just have bills. So I'm paying internet at 2 places. Anyway, so you met a rather famous dude in the Tulsa market a couple weeks ago.
Oh, man. Yeah. So at the Tulsa Farmers Market, can you assist?
I was just going to do that until he looked.
What's funny is, so
I saw it in my peripherals.
we all follow a certain Tulsa-centered Facebook page.
Pesos.
Yeah, I was
why
going
can't we
to
say that?
build suspense as
Oh,
to who
I'm
I
sorry.
was. Yeah, thanks for
I'm
ruining it.
sorry.
So
Cancel.
anyhow, yes, I'll rush through this story
We'll
now.
start over. We'll start over.
But
So
no,
you met someone famous the other
So you
day.
met someone famous the other day?
appreciate it. But no, so what's
Peace
funny
out.
is we all follow the Facebook page, and I guarantee you we can all think of like that, like it's like a sketch of his face, or what is it, black and white? I don't know what you call that, Ed.
It's a silhouette.
Silhouette of his face. So like I know what the guy looks like, but I just don't think about seeing him ever out in public. And we ended up at Tulsa Farmers Market, and my wife and daughter got drawn to the table because they had salsas and some other stuff, but they also had beef jerky. So I go over there and he's like, "You want to sample the jerky?" And he's offering me samples of all the different flavors. And like finally, I was like, it was delicious beef jerky. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll buy a bag of this. And he handed me the bag, and on the bag was that same little picture of his face, and it said like Piso's beef jerky. And I literally stopped and I go, "Are you Piso?" And he was like, "Yeah." And like I fanboyed out for a minute,
Just a
which you
moment.
shouldn't. This guy runs a restaurant and runs a Tulsa foodie Facebook page, so he's not a celebrity. But I legit for about a minute, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I follow you on Facebook and this and that, and I've been wanting to come check out your restaurant. And I realized within like a minute that I was like, "Oh, I'm talking fast." Like I'm
Have you heard about my friend's cock?
Yeah, it's a sexy.
El Presidente.
Yeah.
Presidente.
But no,
It's a
like,
beard.
I realized I was fanboying
it's a
out,
beard
and
like
I
you.
brought it back for a second, and I was like, okay, cool, you know. So we actually talked about the pod for a minute, talked about reviewing some of his food on the pod, and then I fanboyed out at the very end because I was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And a 42-year-old man asking another 40-ish-year-old man for a picture is odd, and he was just like, "Yeah," and he came around the table, and like it was awkward, but I was willing to put up with the awkwardness. And then I texted y'all, and I was like, 10 points if you can guess who this is, and immediately I think Justin was like, "That's Piso," and I'm like, "Well, fuck it."
I did know who it was. I was not in a friendly mood that day.
Okay.
I've been going through some back issues, which I know you can
Yeah.
associate with, and I was fucking hurting. I was actually coaching like the playoffs for the basketball girls. 3 teams in the playoffs. I think we had 9 games in like 4 or 5 days, something like that. I was coaching with a cane.
That sucks.
Because I could not stand
Is it
up.
muscle or spine with you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. A little bit of everything?
Fractured vertebrae with like old injuries, I guess, that are what are the words I'm looking for? I'm pinching nerves to my legs and stuff like that, and so I was
Where at in your legs? Like thigh?
all the way down to the knee.
So like L4, L4, L5, S1, like that area is the issue?
It's down here.
Okay, so yeah.
Yes.
So if it's your
whatever.
left thigh, then it's the L4, L5. If it's your right thigh, it's the L5, S1, I think.
Yeah. How about both?
Okay. I only get it in my left thigh.
Left is worse. Left is definitely worse.
Well, it's funny. I couldn't figure out for the life of me forever. It was just a burning in my thigh, and like I kind of couldn't figure out what was going on. And I went to back specialists my whole life, but at one point they had me at a place that was it was called like the Texas Back Institute. And I remember at the time I was like, "Oh, I'm finally going to a real back place." And like I went there for 6 months before I realized it was pain management. Like they were just every time they'd be like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "It still hurts," and then they would just up my dosage and give me. Every 4 months they would put me under anesthesia and give me shots into my spine. And then at one point, after like a year and a half, they were like, "We can't keep doing this. Like, you can't keep going under anesthesia this often. Like, there's a chance you'll never wake up." But anyhow, their solution was basically like where the nerve runs is like pinching it right there. So basically, the surgery would be to go in there and like, I don't know what the right word is. I want to say waller. I want to waller it out.
Okay,
That's not it.
I heard that as a medical term. They're gonna wallow her out.
You know what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
basically waller it out a little bit to make it bigger, and then also put a rod in there. And it was like, and they were like, "Yeah, you should hold off on doing this as long as you can, because once you get the rod put in, like it's uncomfortable to sit." I was like, well, I like sitting. Like sitting's one of my favorite
Let's not
things.
ruin that.
Yeah.
It's one of 2 options. It's one of 3 options I have. It's
Yeah.
either sitting, standing, or lying
Lying
down.
down.
So-
and I don't want that one gone.
At some point, if the pain gets so bad when I'm older that I have to do that, then I have to say goodbye to sitting. So I'm putting that off as long as I can.
Never had. I will do everything
Yeah.
to not have surgery. I've never had a surgery. Okay. I've had. Like,
You had your
vasectomy
eyes sliced.
and a vasectomy. But
Yes.
I don't consider those like
Dude, your eyeball was like sliced. They held it open and went.
Oh, LASIK?
yeah.
Is he trying to say LASIK is a surgery?
Yeah.
I had LASIK. LASIK's not surgery.
It is literally you're in there for like 45
it's neat,
seconds.
honestly. Like as it's happening, it looks like Star Wars. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then I had a vasectomy, so I don't know if that counts necessarily either. That's so minimal.
What's funny, when you said you have a vasectomy, my initial response in my head was like, he's so lucky. Like I want a vasectomy, and if it wasn't
They
for,
offer them.
if
still.
it wasn't for the price, I would have a vasectomy.
Insurance doesn't cover it.
So my wife looked into it at one point, and like I don't know how our insurance works, but like we have a yearly deductible that's pretty high. So we have that first amount we have to pay out of pocket till we
Right.
hit that deductible. So it'd be like I think it was gonna be like $6 or $7 grand.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. So
Which I don't understand deductibles. Like, I'm giving you money. I don't go to the doctor often. I've been giving you
Yeah.
money for the last 20 years. How about you just call this one good?
yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm fixing to just cancel all insurance. Just figure it out.
Yeah.
Legally, you have to have car insurance.
Yes, which is sham.
I watched a
Conspiracy
Bernie
theory.
Sanders rally the other night. So single payer, Medicare for all. Let's go, baby. I'm just joking. It's amazing how convincing he is when you watch him and nobody challenges what he says. I was like, I'm all for this. Everything he's saying sounds phenomenal. Now, who's going to pay for it? Obviously, but I came away from that being like, let's go, Medicare for all. The thing he kept repeating is like, why should we have people in America going bankrupt over medical debt? And that resonates with me because when I was in the hospital with my lung thing, like, thank God our insurance paid. Like the total bill on that was $900,000, and we only had to pay like $8 or $9 grand out of pocket. It should have only been $7, but a couple things they did was out of network, so we had to pay for that. But like, yeah, if I didn't have insurance, like that's just all right. You now are paying off $900,000 for the rest of your life.
I will say it's pretty depressing when you see pretty much every other civilized country in the world has 0 people a year going broke for medical debt, and America has 300,000 people per year going into debt because of medical reasons. And you're like,
oh yeah,
statistically, that very likely could happen to me.
I mean,
we're all one accident away from having
From
severe-
debt.
Yeah.
I think that it's okay. Here's my philosophy on this one. I think it stems from the sheer cost of medical school. If they made medical school actually reasonable, where you weren't leaving medical school in like $400,000 in debt, you're not spending your whole life paying that off. We don't have to pay our doctors that much.
I can honestly say I have no clue how much. I've never heard. Is medical school like outrageously priced?
I mean, you're going to be at least $250,000 in debt. By the
Okay,
time
yeah,
you're
I've never heard that angle of it at all. So,
That's just my thought, right?
Yeah.
Like if the doctors don't have to pay off so much medical debt, then they don't need to be paid as much. And then if a hospital, like they buy their MRI, sure, that thing costs a ton of money. Once it's paid off, like lower the rates. I don't know.
so in other words, you'd be for some kind of like more affordable higher education for people.
Yeah.
Dude, Bernie would love you. No, I'm joking.
The schools are all in it, like,
Yeah.
they're all for profit. And
That's again, it was weird because like everything he said, I was like, yeah, but it's like a utopian dream where it's like, okay, how do we pay for all the things he just listed? But I will. That was my thing coming out of that because I've always said like Bernie's too far left, blah blah blah. But coming out of it, I was like, well, he didn't say anything that sounded bad. It's just a matter of how do we actually do that?
oh yeah.
Super high taxes. So anyhow,
Or all the money that Doge is finding.
I pay for that MRI machine.
I was gonna say, yeah, all their wall of receipts. I'll be quick on this, but their wall of receipts is something I've been monitoring now for the past month, and it's hysterical to me. The New York Times and him are going back and forth, where like they'll post new things that they're like, look at all these billions we save, and then the New York Times will investigate it and be like, hey, actually, this math isn't adding up. Like it's actually like 1/4 of what you said you found, and then they'll pull it totally off the wall of receipts without saying anything, and then put it back like a week later at the right amount, the one the New York Times found. And it's like just. These people are geniuses. How are they
Be
not?
honest, they can't do simple math.
They're too smart for simple math.
Yes.
So,
1 + 3 is A.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I think we should do the food thing because for Christmas, I got that thing over there
Is that a microwave?
above the microwave behind all the vitamins that I forget to take every day.
Okay.
I don't know how you forget them. They're there.
Is it the painting on the wall? What is it?
That is like 7 hot sauces. and a little spinner wheel, and you
Oh,
spin
I
it.
gotcha.
And you either have to take
Yeah.
a shot of a hot sauce.
Can I be the ref for this? Because I can't do that.
You're
You
doing
can't do this?
I
You
don't,
don't
there's
like
no
spices?
need. When you did the stupid Dave's Hot Chicken thing, I told you then. Like, I don't think there's anything super awesome or impressive about a guy hurting himself to do hot sauces.
But I mean, I couldn't because you were there. I couldn't say no.
You could have.
Could not.
Yeah. I got like the second weakest one. You totally could have. Now, like the show Hot Ones, like if we were to all like take a little sample of the super hottest one and then try to like maintain our cool and talk, and like I'd be all about that. But like the way you just described that, taking a shot of the hot sauce, like that's just trying to hurt yourself.
Okay, we don't have to spin the wheel, but we could try the hot sauces. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just little dabs. Just
Little dabs.
Yeah.
Little dab will do you.
I would do that.
Snort a couple of them, see what happens.
Yeah. Put it on the butthole.
Call an El Presidente.
When I was in my early 20s, I had some buddies that we all thought it was funny or cool, I don't know which one, to snort tequila. Like we would flip over a shot glass, and on the bottom of a shot glass there's a tiny little reservoir, and we would pour a little tequila there and get a straw and snort it, like to impress people at a bar. I don't. Looking back, it was one of the dumber things I ever did.
Yeah, it's not smart.
But watching you at Dave's Hot Chicken that day, like that's the comparison I was able to make. I was like, I don't know who he thinks he's impressing here. Like,
Wasn't trying to impress anybody. I
Does
just
that
wondered if I could do
increase
it.
your drunkness?
no, I don't. It burns. That's all I.
I like
Is it
it.
like, is it like when you put it in the bottle?
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. That's past my time. The kids were doing that after me.
Dude, I heard some girls in high school were soaking their tampons.
Yep.
In like vodka and
So that all started happening right after I was out of high school, because I remember I was hearing about it, and that was like my first old manish where I was like, "What are these kids doing today?" And I was only
these kids doing?
my lawn.
I was only like 22, but I was like, "We didn't do that shit when I was in high school." So yeah,
You were just snorting tequila out of the bottom of a
Yeah,
shot
you were.
glass.
I was
all
until
did
my
our-
20s.
We all did our dumb shit.
You just said you were in your 20s.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyhow, I'm down for your hot sauce game though.
Okay. I think we should do like before we record next week. Call Pete. Can you get like he said he would give some food, right?
He did. He said he would hook us up with a tray of like a sampler of all the stuff he has. So I just gotta, because his place is north of you. I'll have to figure out how to get up there and get it. But
Everything is
I'll reach
north
out
of
through
them.
Facebook.
I mean, you could.
But
It's in the mall, right?
it's
in
in
Promenade.
some old mall.
It's in Promenade. Mhm.
Okay, I don't even know where that's at. I even asked him about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, we're inside of a."
41st and Yale.
So he could use some good press right now. He's getting kind of tore up on the Facebook group.
Why?
Some people have had bad experiences.
At his restaurant?
Yeah,
I have not seen much.
there was one today. We
there?
should cut all this so we can get free food.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
No,
no,
no. We'll prove all these Facebook people with zero taste buds wrong.
I'm down.
That's also true. Hearing a food review is, you're always like, wow, that's really convincing. And you're like, wait, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah.
I'll see reviews on places where it's like I go there all the time and I know the food is outstanding, or maybe they did just have the one bad experience.
Possible.
But when I hear people like just going off on a place that I go to a lot, I'm like, well, what are they talking about here?
Especially when they go off on the service in places where you're like,
Yeah.
no,
I don't buy it.
I know the people that work there.
They're
there's
awesome.
There's not a chance that happened. You were.
I will say though, I've been disappointed with a higher end steakhouse in town. It's a chain, Ruth's Chris, because we went to go, and you think if you're paying upwards of $50+ per steak, and then you have to pay separate for the sides, at least the steak, because it's in their name, steakhouse, would come out good. I ordered mine medium rare. That thing came out medium. Did your steak come out okay?
Mine did.
Okay.
What's
Not
weird
that
though-
time. The second time, it came out like almost medium well, and I was like,
What's weird about that is
gonna keep
good
it.
steakhouses normally, like, and they'll even, if you say medium, they'll say, hey, just want to clarify, because what a good steakhouse considers medium is less cooked than what a lot of people
yeah,
consider.
medium rare for most people.
Exactly. So like, and like that, anytime I go to I can tell it's a good place, because if I say like, hey, I want it medium rare, they'll like lean in and confirm with me. So you want pink on the outside, red in the center, right? And I'm like, bring it, like do
Yeah.
it. But I respect that.
I like mine like rare. Like
Yeah.
honestly, I like my steak pretty much rare. I'll tell you what doesn't help though. I don't need the 500-degree plates.
Yeah,
Let's knock that shit off.
Fun gimmick and all that stuff. My wife went back with another friend, her friend Cash. Anyway, she likes her steaks medium. So she came back. She's telling me, I was like, hey, how was Ruth Chris? How was the steak? She's like, was about like last time. Poor cook on her steak. And I was like, really? She goes, I ordered medium, right? And I said, yeah. And she goes, that thing came out, congratulations. A step above well done.
That's-
And I was like, that is the best way to describe a steak now.
But I thought it was pretty. I thought I could take a Walmart steak and make it taste better at home.
I'd go buy a
flavor,
tomahawk.
The flavor wasn't
Yeah.
even that good.
I've only eaten at Ruth's Chris once, and it was up here. And I went casino walking one night, and I was like, I'll get some food there. But then I was walking around, and there was no. I was trying to be healthy, and I was just like, I wish I could just get some protein. And then I walked by Ruth's Chris, and I was like,
Hey, steak.
I walked in and
Steak.
ordered a filet, which I'm normally a ribeye guy, but they had like an 8-ounce filet, and I was like, 8 ounces protein, like let's go. And yeah, very not great. And that's my only experience in a Ruth's Chris. But I'm like, if you want a good steak in Tulsa, I can tell you 3 or 4 places better than Ruth's Chris in a heartbeat.
We tried 3 times within 2 months, and it just so happened I'd never even tried it before. We went on a date night; it was fun. That was just something we decided to do.
Yeah.
Our wives were with us.
Y'all went on. Okay.
Not that it would matter. Not that it would matter.
It was just me and Kyle.
It was just us.
We held hands.
And then for my in-laws, my mother-in-law's birthday or something, we went to go to a comedian that night there. Just
Good comedian? Which comedian?
Steve.
Harvey. Byrne.
Nope. Steve sounds wrong now that you're just saying all these names.
Was he in the league?
No. No. He's a real conservative Hispanic guy.
Yeah, don't know that
Jose.
guy.
You would recognize him. He's got tons of Netflix stuff.
Gabriel Iglesias.
No.
He's fluffy. Sorry.
No, but yeah, no. It was bad. Both times. And the sides weren't even,
The sides aren't even that good.
they're not even that good. If I go to a good steakhouse, you can almost pretty much guarantee those sides are going to be banging every time.
To me, and if anybody doesn't live here in Denver, ends up in Tulsa, Bull in the Alley is like if you're going on a date night, especially like that's the place. It's in my mind probably tied for best steak with probably 2 or 3 other places in Tulsa. But then the ambiance, the service, like it's just phenomenal. So that place, the Hemingway is awesome.
Hemingway was the other one that I was thinking of. That was
Hemingway
pretty good.
has that gochujang miso butter or something. It's I put that on everything. Anyhow,
Remember when we did the Japanese breakfast?
Yeah.
That was really good.
I
And
wanna do
fun.
that again.
That was good and fun.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was like a complete experience.
that was real quick. That was when you invite. I was like, oh, like Justin, the guy I've been trying to get to talk to me, just invited me to breakfast with Kyle. This is going to be great. And we went. And like at the end, it was like, okay, like how do we pay? And you were like, oh, I already paid, guys. And I was like, you're buying us breakfast? And you were like, well, it is my birthday. And I was like, oh, wait, hold on. I didn't know it's your birthday. Nobody said that. And then on top of that, you're buying us breakfast for your birthday.
It is common in Japanese culture to pay on your birthday.
He explained
Korea
that,
too,
but yeah,
yeah.
I didn't all the way through the meal. I was just like, this is a fun Sunday. I didn't know why we were there. So
Celebrating. You know me.
yeah, well, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I probably knew that. I just didn't say anything.
Yeah, nobody told
I
me.
probably
It's
knew
cool.
all of that. He paid. It was his birthday.
When you make the reservation, you pay.
You have to
Right when you make the reservation.
Pay for a table.
I didn't know. So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It's not
Thanks.
that expensive.
And then the dessert. I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, but the dessert
I don't
was
think
awesome.
we did.
So just recently, you know the little jar that they gave it. We each took home an extra dessert, which they were like, we don't really do this, but here you can do it. Please bring back the jar. I never brought back the jar. I'm sorry. But just recently, they had a Facebook post where it was like, we can't order those jars anymore. So if you've taken one over the
No
years,
kidding?
like we will give you, and it was like a free this or a free that if you please return the jar because we can't get those anymore.
Guarantee you mine's in the trash.
I still have mine, but I use it forever. It was a perfect little jar. Like I use it all the time.
It's a
So
perfect little jar.
they just got to find a new jar in my
Dude,
opinion.
that dessert was
Yeah,
like
different jar.
something different.
Yeah. So we each took that home with the intent for it to be for our wives, and I ended up eating that like almost immediately upon getting home. Like that thing didn't last. So
I almost
very
ate it in
good.
the truck.
Yep.
This is just a whole experience. Like that sounds really pretentious to say, but it legitimately was.
What was it, like 5 courses?
I mean, the dessert itself.
Oh yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was a whole. It was you had your sweet, your salty, your
Smoky.
yeah. It was everything all in one, and it was
like-
delicious.
And then if you mixed it up, it was a completely different flavor.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was like maple syrupy.
Yeah, there was definitely some maple in there.
But I think it was like a 5-course thing. The portions could have been bigger.
sorry.
I'm a big guy though, so I can put away a lot of food.
You can. my tummy gets full.
Pride myself on that.
So real quick, going back to stand-up comedy, I got to go see Tom Segura. I'm sorry you guys didn't want to go.
Okay,
I texted y'all.
you did.
Actually, you were
did.
out of town,
I
right?
was out of town.
You never responded.
That was during injury time.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
not. I was
Dude
not
was-
talking.
dude was down for
I
the
was literally
count.
not talking
Yeah.
to anybody for a while.
Either way, I ended up waiting till like the morning of, or maybe the day before, to buy tickets, and because of that, they were trying. It was what was going on? There was something. Oh, it was icy. That was the weekend
ice
of all the
storm.
ice.
Yeah.
So they slashed the ticket prices. So for like $60, I got to sit right next to the stage. But By the way, I'm very much looking forward to the new Tom Segura special. It was pretty solid. So
Was it filmed in Tulsa?
no, I'm sure he's whatever he was doing. I think he's not there yet. I doubt he's filmed yet, but you could tell he was still working some stuff out. But
okay.
good stuff. So
Nice.
Whenever it records, I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get to join you.
It's okay. You had to go to Atlanta. I can't remember.
It was Atlanta, and I got back that evening.
Gotcha. I went with Darth Yoda, and when I think I texted him and was like, "Would you want to go see Tom Segura like tonight?" And like I felt like I could feel the excitement through the phone. He was like, "Boy, would I!" And then before I knew it,
betcha.
yeah, before I knew it, it was like I got a date tonight. So
He's been putting on a lot of disc golf videos.
yeah, we're gonna do a course walkthrough this weekend.
Yeah.
So somehow I'm gonna be on 3 different YouTube channels that get like a total of no views. Very excited about that.
Hey, they might get a total of like 50.
If you add all 3 together, it's like
Yeah,
maybe
like
60. So
50, 60,
yeah,
yeah.
but anyhow, yeah. So he wants to start a channel where it's us doing reviews on courses, and both of us suck. So I'm like, all right, this will be a blast. So he went out and bought the mics and all that,
Yeah, I
like the
saw that.
parabolic. Yeah. So
Though they rode.
no, they're. I bought a cheap pair of those like 2 or 3 months ago, and then he bought like just the very next step up from my cheap pair. So together we have cheap pairs.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Well, Rode's not cheap. That's what these are.
yeah, no, the Rode pair. There's Rode and one other brand that I can't remember that are like $170 to $200 for like a solid pair. But I'm not spending that kind of money.
Steve Trevino.
I know that guy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Steve
deal.
was right.
Steve was right. That I could.
When you said Steve and then you said he's like a Hispanic comedian, I was just like, that makes no sense to me, but I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
One of my favorite comedians is Korean, and his name is Steve Byrne.
Steve Byrne? Mm-hmm. I don't even know who he is.
He's also really tall. He's half white, too.
Is Joe Coy Korean or
No.
sorry,
Filipino.
Is he? Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. Joseph?
Yeah,
Joseph, you play the video games?
he's good. I like him.
Yeah, Joe Coy's good. Henry Cho is another Korean one.
He's the guy from.
Tennessee.
Oh no, that's not. What's the name of the guy from Harold and Kumar? Henry
That is...
something Cho.
Yeah, John Cho.
Okay. Anyhow, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. Because it's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, solid.
It's a great movie. Classic. Dude, we should like make a venture off to the
White
nearest
Castle?
White Castle.
So the nearest White Castle is in Indiana from here.
Columbia, Missouri.
No.
Columbia?
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
that far.
I looked at when I first moved here, like when I was really sad that I had to move to Tulsa. I was like, is there anything good? So I started just searching random things that I didn't have in Texas. And I remember I checked White Castle because I was like, maybe there's a White Castle nearby. And like the closest one was 5 or 6 hours away. It was a ways, so
Columbia,
it wasn't
Missouri.
doable. So
We stopped there on our way back from one of our WrestleMania trips. I was not impressed.
oh, they're not that good.
I was not
No.
impressed
I
at
thought
all.
they were amazing. I got a crave case and ate all 30 of them.
Dude, every time I go to a city where there's White Castle, I get so excited about going. And then as I'm eating them, it's like, this isn't really that good. But I'm still going to be excited next time. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
It tastes just like the ones out of the freezer section.
they definitely, yeah, they're not phenomenal. But dang it, I'm
I
going.
think they're delicious.
Maybe I'll need to try them again.
I also don't have good taste buds, I guess. I don't know.
I think
yeah,
if you
you
get
don't-
super
you don't-
baked, they would be like, and the fact that you can get 50 of them for $20 or whatever, it's very economical to go. They used to be. I don't know what it's like these days, but like you used to be able to get a whole plate full of burgers and fries, and it would be like $12.
It was called the crave case.
okay.
Crave case was 30 sliders, and I think it was like $28.
Okay, yeah. So I never ordered that many, but
I ate them all.
You want to know what one of the most... See if you guys had the same experience growing up I did. And this, I can tell you how I got here in a second if you'd like. The most distracting thing for a teenage boy, like when you were in middle school,
Boobs.
fair, but those weren't on display very often, like in school.
Okay.
That was not commonly there.
I gotta guess.
Okay.
Unwanted boners. That is the most distracting.
It was
thing for a boy in
distracting,
middle
but
school.
this would cause them.
Okay, got it.
Maybe not cause, but it would okay. So do you remember the
Sexy cock.
Do you remember the? Just happened.
He said sexy cock and you paused.
It looked like his brain froze for a second, where he was like, I don't know what to do with that.
No, I just got a text message from a friend who said there's a bit of psychopath in all of our daughters, starting with episode 1 of the podcast.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the stickers that girls would wear when they were getting tans?
Oh, like the
the Playboy bunny or the
Yeah.
heart or something.
Star,
And it
yeah.
was like low-rise jeans during the time, so they would always try and sneak
Yeah.
that out there. That was the most distracting fucking thing.
So-
Dude, I feel so bad for the teenage boys right now because all these girls are wearing the mom jeans like up to their nipples and stuff. Not that I'm checking out young girls. I just feel like that's like, bro, this sucks to be you because you're seeing baggy jeans.
I feel like there was an era of like the tanning bed era where they were all fake bacon,
Yeah.
and I feel like at least here in Tulsa, I don't feel like I see it a lot. You don't see
no,
it.
you don't see it a lot anymore at all. But there was so many girls in middle school that were tanning, and they had that damn stick that tan line there, and that was one of the most distracting things I could humanly see at that time.
Funny story. So my second job ever, my first job was as a busboy. My second job ever was a lady that my mom knew cut hair, and she opened up her own. She wanted to go into her own place, and it was a tanning salon in front. It was 8 rooms with beds, 4 on each side, and then she cut hair in the back. And I got a job there, so I was like guy when he walked in, and it was nothing but like milfs that were coming in.
That sounds like a great job.
It was phenomenal, and the name of the place was Sotan. And when I answered the phone, I'd have to say, "Hi, thanks for calling Sotan, where you get so tan." So I played that up like as much as I could. But yeah, it was like the dream job, and like I controlled the little bucket of the different stickers. And when they'd come in, I'd be like, "What is it? Do you want? Oh, you want a Playboy bunny? Okay, hold on. Here you go, honey." Yeah, it was phenomenal. I was like 17, and it was all.
Did you ask them like if they needed help putting on like tan lotion on their back? or
Never,
their front?
no. But I totally did. The lady was like, "Well, you need to be tan, so when people walk in, they like see." So I fake baked like crazy. I
Wow,
had a rocking
okay.
tan for a while. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
I can't.
I
See
did
that.
not. I cannot see that either. I also, if that goes into the bucket of if I could get paid enough in a particular job, I would just never leave. When I was 17, 18, I was the DJ for Global at the local bowling alley.
Oh, cool. That's for Glow Bowl.
Global?
I thought you meant like Globo Gym, Global.
No, Glow Bowl. And I was, man, if that paid money, I would have done that shit forever. Just worked as an lane attendant / DJ at the blowing alley.
That's Kyle's specialty. I would have kept that job for as long as I possibly could, but I ended up getting fired.
Well, how'd you get fired,
So
Andy?
it was just a funny story. So she was a born again Christian who I had on good authority that she used to be let's just say promiscuous and on a lot of drugs, but now had like turned her life around and was very very much trying to turn everybody else's life around. And there was a radio in there. Remember the old it was like a system in the middle with 2 little speakers that had like a 5-disc changer at the top and radio, like one of those. We all had one of those growing up.
Yeah.
There was one of those sitting up on top of something, and so we had like 3 different Christian music CDs. That's all we could listen to. So it was just like take your pick and put it on repeat, and it's the same. It was Christian rock. And on the weekends, I think it was on Sundays, she didn't cut hair, so when she wasn't there, I would flip it to the oldie station. Nothing disrespectful, but I just couldn't handle the Christian music anymore, so I would put on the oldie station, and one of her clients came into tan and then like ratted on me and was like, I went in there and the oldies were on, like it wasn't Christian. And then that week before she could talk to me about it, a buddy of mine came up to visit, and on her board, that like dry erase board that listed the specials, like the top of it said something about Jesus. Jesus is always watching or something. And I didn't even notice, but my buddy put a little the little slash over the U to where it was Jesus, or over the E, whatever it was. And he did that, and the combination of those 2 things, she got really mad at me, and she gave me Bible verses to go home, and she was like, "You need to go home and do these read these and be prepared to talk to me about them tomorrow." And I was like,
I got fired too.
I was like, this is my job. I don't think, and I even asked my mom, I was like, she's making me read the Bible? And my mom was like, no. And then when I showed up the next time, I told her I hadn't read them, and then she told me that was, well, see you later.
Last straw.
So anyhow,
So he didn't like write Jesus is watching you, tan.
no, he just, and I didn't even know it. He just put the little, but he put it over the E or the
Tilde?
U. I don't even, I don't even remember what. So, but yeah, she.
Well, they would be like an Nye.
I don't know.
The squiggly lines. That's
I just work at the blowing alley.
as the DJ.
Can you send me the address to the blowing alley?
No,
I've got
I
spare
cannot.
time.
No, I cannot.
Does it have some awesome holes?
3.
Glory holes? It's the new grip.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made it there.
The tanning
Nah, I
place,
wouldn't
yeah.
have made it there.
But it was one of those where for a while I was willing to put up with it because, like I said, it was
That's
just
fair.
attractive moms coming in all the time. And I was I think like 17, 18 at the time. So I was all there for it. So anyhow,
Did you ever get hit on like very clearly hit on?
No, but I definitely was like the 18-year-old that was like trying to spit game at MILFs that like
Yeah.
they were not receptive to. I think there were definitely some that were like, ah, that's cute, but like there was never any possibility.
There's no real nibbles,
Yeah, no. So
just nipples.
Just nipples.
yeah,
I got
no.
you. Beat you.
And she pretty much, when she built the place or finished it out, she made it pretty much impossible to be like sneaky and like, yeah, you can. Trust me, I thought about it. There was, it was
There was
pretty
no happy endings.
Yeah, it's pretty secure. So,
Okay.
But after they got done, I like my only job was like when they came in, I would have to like click on the computer, like check them into a bed, like click on their name and click on the bed and give them the sticker of their choice. But then when they were gone, I had to go like wipe down the bed. And I remember like ahead of time, I was like, oh, that'll be kind of hot. Like, I don't know why I thought that they were just naked in here. That'll be no, it's not, because they put on all that tanning lotion shit and that stuff's just hard to get off the glass of the tanning bed. So there was nothing hot about that part of it at all. Like when they were gone, it was like, now I have to go wipe all that lotion off the fucking. Sorry, it's very irritating. So
Were there any like
I'm glad I know this about you. I don't know why.
yeah, where you get so tan.
So
marks
tan.
where you get so tan?
So tan.
Yes. That's good times.
Great oldies.
Anybody have an embarrassing job in their past that they? Am I the only one that worked at a tanning place?
I worked at Pump It Up.
What is
You worked at Pumped It Up?
I worked at Pump It Up.
You know, Brad worked there. Tara worked there.
Well, I did not know that.
I have no clue what Pump It Up is.
Have you ever do you remember Discovery Zone?
Is that where a kid can be a kid or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Bounce You.
Okay, so like Urban Air or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I have bounce houses, right?
Yep, okay.
It's a place where there's just bounce houses.
Okay.
And then you could have a birthday party.
Is that where you like, at that point, did you know that one day I'm going to own my own bounce house company?
This was goals.
No. If I'd known they weigh as much as they do and are not as lucrative of a business as it is, wouldn't have bought them.
You were looking at your boss and you were like, one day that could be me.
You worked in Texas there?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's how I actually knew Tara before I knew Morgan.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Yeah, but I worked at Pump It Up. That wasn't really embarrassing or fun or anything.
Yeah.
No. It sucked. Little kids are brats.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't want to work with little kids.
Then I had to like, what the worst part was, is they're like, all right, let's open the presents. And they handed me this list. And I was like, what am I supposed to do this? And they go, write down what the kids got. So I had, well, what is that? What's that called? And, well, who's that from? Okay. Worst. The worst.
Yeah, I can't see you fitting into that scene at all.
And you worked at Chick-fil-A, right?
Worked at Chick-fil-A. I also worked at Cold Stone Creamery
Ooh. Okay.
and had to sing.
Is it just like everything else where ice cream gets old quickly, where you're like, it's easy to not eat the ice cream. Sick of ice cream. I play with it all day.
It tastes better straight out the soft serve. Like when it's made
Okay.
before you freeze it, way better. But yeah, you kind of get tired of it.
Sure.
Like, we try to do fun stuff and like tricks with the syrup and chocolate bottles
That's what.
and things.
Did you guys ever have spaghetti warehouses up here? Is that okay? I didn't know if that was just a Texas thing, but my first job was as a busboy at Spaghetti Warehouse.
Wow.
And like, if I was on a shift for more than like 5 hours, you got a free meal at some point. So like at the time, like growing up, I loved going to Spaghetti Warehouse. And like, the time I worked there, I was like, oh, free meal time. And dude, by the time I left there, like I couldn't go into an Italian restaurant. Like the smell of Italian food, like
Ours closed not that long ago.
It was still open for a while.
Yeah, it was across the street from like where the One Oak Field, the Drillers or FC Tulsa play. It was right across the street from there.
Gotcha.
That's suiting for a place called Spaghetti Warehouse downtown, brick buildings.
It was an old brick building. You know, I think the building's gone also now, but
Probably an apartment.
I've only went once.
It was
I got
straight
it.
up fast food.
I got it.
Italian.
Yeah, I got it. I understood. I
I've
was
never
like,
eaten
okay.
at a Spaghetti Warehouse.
It was dressed up as like cooked to order good food, but it was straight up fast food. Everything was pre-cooked, waiting in the back. So
Cold Stone was a lot of fun. Actually, a buddy of mine, I got a random text message last night of just a photo of me and several other friends at Bonnaroo.
Okay.
You heard of Bonnaroo?
yeah, I know what Bonnaroo is.
Yeah. So we went
Where you
to
been?
Bonnaroo in 2003. So it was the second Bonnaroo they had. And
Is that so? It's like a music festival, right?
yeah, it's a 3-day music festival.
What
Starts
state is it in? Is it in California?
It's in Tennessee, Manchester,
okay.
Tennessee.
Got it.
So these old people, or some people had like a 500-acre farm, and they just rented out the space. They set up stages, and for 3 days, from Friday at noon till midnight on Sunday, just nonstop music. And got this picture. And I was like, "Oh dang, is this at Bonnaroo?" And my buddy Sam was like, "Yeah, that's from Bonnaroo." I was like, "Man, that's really good times." Who's the other phone number in here that I don't recognize? but it's like, it's Greg. I miss you. It's like, dude, so many freaking members. All three of us worked at Cold Stone Creamery.
Nice.
And we were like the worst employees, probably.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. We were pretty good. We got sent to Vegas to.
Sometimes when you're having fun at work, makes up for a lot, you know?
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
And we went to Vegas for like a manager's thing, even though we weren't managers. That's when we got our first tattoos.
Nice.
When we were 18.
Little hoodlum getting tattoos.
Yeah. Got the mom with the heart.
Does Chick-fil-A allow tattoos?
Chick-fil-A allows a lot of stuff now.
Okay.
I don't know
facial
a
hair
lot
and
of
stuff?
bands from the lineup.
This year?
2003.
There's a bunch of jam bands.
Yeah, so OAR.
Yep, OAR, so Over Revolution. The headliner on Sunday was The Dead. So that was fun. But there was
Yeah,
North
like the
Mississippi.
Grateful Dead?
Yeah, but without Jerry because
Okay.
he's dead. But yeah, there was like North
okay, I see
Mississippi
that
All
now.
Stars.
I see that now.
I think Jack Johnson was there.
Yeah, Jason Mraz was
Jason
there.
was right. Dude's a freaking douchebag.
That's
I can see
fair.
that.
Despise Jason Mraz.
The
Like,
Roots.
The Roots were there. We saw the Roots.
That's what I got. I think that's it.
Mo with
The Flaming
period.
Lips.
Flaming Lips was fun.
Okay.
They played overnight. They played the midnight to 4 a.m.
The Machine, is that like Florence and the Machine? Because that fits the. Oh,
think it's just
it's
The
a
Machine.
Pink Floyd tribute band. No, never mind.
Real quick, I got to hang out with the Roots one night. Their drummer, the guy with the big fro.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it? He's got a name that's memorable.
It's
but I
got a
can't-
name.
Anyhow,
Fro guy.
for a period of time, I had a buddy that was on the news in Dallas. He was on the NBC affiliate, and like he was the. We always used to give him shit, but he was like the early weekend morning guy, or if like the weather was terrible or it was cold or icy, like he was the one standing out there like, hey, reporting from this shitty weather. So he was like lowest on the level. But he one night got me into a club in Deep Ellum, and he was like, yeah, we're going to see a band, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't. I very much enjoyed hanging out with him because he knew like local celebrities. So I'd go out with him and then it'd be like, oh shit, that's the hot girl from Channel 8 or whatever, you know? And like, so so if he invited me anywhere, I was going because it was going to end up being good. But he was like, yeah, we're going to go see a band in Deep Ellum. And I went, and it was the Roots. And I remember at the time, I was like, I have no clue who this is. And honestly, the music wasn't that great to me. Like it wasn't my thing. But then afterward, he was like, hey, come on, I bet we can get backstage. I went back there and I ended up talking to a big black dude with an afro and like a pick. And I was sitting there talking to him for a while. And I remember afterward, he was like, dude, I cannot believe you were sitting there talking to whatever.
Big black man with
Whatever
afro.
his name was,
Afro man.
and at that point, even I was like, "Is he somebody I should know?" And they're like, "Yeah." And like now he's like the musical guy on one of the late night shows, Jimmy Fallon, or
Oh, that guy?
I think that is him. Yeah. So every time I see him now, it's like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that I hung out with for a night," but I don't
Nice.
remember anything about it. So
Yeah.
Let's see what
I think the things I remember from Bonnaroo were
is he Questlove?
that sounds right. Actually,
I think that's what it is.
Questlows.
we're probably just completely showing our ass right now.
Yeah,
having no idea,
yeah.
but that does sound right.
I did.
No one's
I
gonna
did the
check
same
us.
thing with a guy named Tommy that was in the Smashing Pumpkins, and I think he might have been a drummer.
I thought that was the pasty guy. No, that's Billy Corgan.
I
Okay.
know a few of the new bands that are.
But you're hanging out with Tommy?
My brother-in-law, who played in the NFL, for his bachelor party, we went to Vegas and we ended up meeting with other NFL players. And like, it got to a point where every time we'd go to a new casino, there was like in the Hard Rock, there was a place called Body English, which like, unless you're famous, you wouldn't even know that club is in the Hard Rock. Like you have to like go through secretive areas to get into there. Anyhow, we'd get into there and then like somebody would talk to the door guy and the owner would come out and then they'd escort us into like a private area. And it was one of those kind of nights where I was hanging out with nothing but NFL players and then me. So it was hysterical because I was the only guy that clearly didn't belong. But like girls would come up to our table sensing the money and they'd be like, what's funny is I had a couple of them that were like, so who do you play for? And it was one of those where I threaded the needle and I never lied, but I also led a lot of people on to believe that I was in the NFL.
I don't like to talk about my job.
I did that kind of thing the whole time, but I know like I was the only one there that wasn't in this group, so I was kind of the outcast of the group I was with. And at one point, like I'm talking to a guy for a while, and he ended up telling me he was like, yeah, well, this is kind of my club. I own stock in this hotel, so I'm kind of a part owner. And like, yeah, if you ever want to come back, blah blah blah. And this was like I had my first this was first generation iPhone, so I opened up like the notes feature, and he typed in his email address to like my notes, and it was Tommy@smashingpumpkins.com or something like that. and I was like, huh? And I remember I was so confused, and then like later I went back and looked, and everybody was like, that was whatever I don't know his last
Tommy
name.
from Smashing Pumpkins.
Anyhow, but everybody's like, you were hanging out. I was like, yeah, I guess that was. And I never once put that to use. I never emailed him to say I was coming back. So
Dude, you've met a lot of really like interesting, random, famous people.
You know what the key is? When you meet them, if you don't know they're famous, like it goes smashingly. Because I met Piso and I fanboyed out on him. But like, if I don't know you're famous, then I think that's what they're looking for, someone who's not going to ask them to tell them stories about the Smashing Pumpkins or whatever it may be. And I was just like, hey man, how you doing? I'm Andy. Like I just kind of, anyhow.
That's how I feel like Eric.
Oh,
Like we got a friend, his name's Eric Maddox, and I didn't know anything about him. And then one day I was talking to Kyle, and he was like, wait, we were talking about deodorant or something. And he's like, yeah, that seems like on par for Eric. And I was like, why do you mean that? And he said, well, he was a Ranger. And I said, what? Like, are we talking about the same guy? And you're like, yeah, you don't know about Eric? And I was like, what do you mean I don't know about Eric? And all you said was Google him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait.
Because he's a very terrifying human being.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Stands about 5 inches shorter than me, looks unassuming.
But for 5 years, I did not know. I had a really hard time not fanboying the next day when I saw him. And Ainsley was like, are you going to freak out when you go talk to him? I was like, no, I'm going to keep it cool. I'm going to keep it cool. He's never brought it up. And so I was like, hey, what's up, Eric? How you doing? He's like, good. And I was like, you ready to watch this game? He said, yeah. I was like, cool. Big plans this week? He said, I got to go to Boston. I was like, that's a bummer. Well, all right. See you later. And I wanted to keep, I have this like philosophy, this thought process is like, famous people are probably bombarded all of the time. They probably appreciate the one person who's just like, hey.
Yeah. What do you do?
He carried out some very famous missions.
Yeah, that's what you've told me about this guy before. Yeah.
He found Saddam Hussein.
But I'll bet that's like the most relieving thing is if they're talking to somebody and they're like, so what do you do? They're like, really? Like, you don't know shit. And they probably make something up. Like,
I didn't know for a long time. It's just like I'm a speaker.
Yeah, he said I'm a keynote speaker. And I left it at that.
Never talked about it again?
What do you talk on? It's like, oh, cool.
Because anyone could say they're a speaker.
Yeah, he's a legit speaker.
Yeah, of course he is. But I didn't know that. I just, I don't ask a lot of shit. I don't ask a lot of questions.
It explains why a lot of the other dads were always like hanging around him.
Yeah, he was the cool one.
Yeah. I thought I was the cool one.
No, it was him.
Nope. No, I'll never be as cool as he is.
I was the cool one, though. Other than him, I was definitely the cool one.
Because I don't like people.
I have a weird thing where if I notice that there's the one dad that everybody's trying to be friends with, like my natural instinct is to be like, screw that guy. And like, no, I'm going to go over here and start my own group. Like, I don't know who he is, but the fact that everybody's trying to be his friend makes me not want to be his friend. And I don't know why, but that's like my natural instinct. So it's the same way. I don't know why it's the same thing with girls, like even married or unmarried. Like if a girl like walks in thinking she's the shit and everybody like, I will be meaner to her, like just out of natural, like
just be mean.
Yeah. Like nobody,
fuck you.
Nobody,
what's with your confidence, you asshole?
It's like nobody's ever mean to you because you're pretty and you know, blah, blah. So like, yeah, I'm going to show you what it's like to get treated like a normal person. I don't know why. That's kind of instinctively where I go.
I was in Wisconsin last week. Speaking of like famous people and stuff like that. Hulk Hogan was at my hotel.
You chickened out.
I am so proud of you. I didn't see him. I'm so proud of both of you because all I said was, guess who's staying at my hotel? Brother.
Yeah, the brother gave it away.
That's easy.
Yeah.
I figured. Anyway, someone did get a picture of him. And then like there's this guy. You can see him in the picture. I'll show you guys a picture later. Who's standing with all this Funko Pop things. And he was like, Hulk, can I get an autograph? And he's like, bro, I already signed your stuff. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed now. But apparently he was hawking his, he's got a beer out.
Okay.
And what a great place, in my opinion, to start. Appleton, Wisconsin, the drunkest city in the United States.
That's true.
And Appleton has more bars per capita than, or not Appleton, but Wisconsin does per capita than any other state in the union.
Not a lot to do in the winter, man.
No.
He was up at work.
I was gonna say
when that first launched.
He was in Tulsa. So he was at the Docks Country Mart in Bixby, like right there by the Quick Trip at 100. So he was there one day, and I actually saw it on my phone where it was like Hulk Hogan's here for 3 more hours at Docks, and I looked at it and I was like,
what?
Do I want to go see? It's 10 minutes from my house, and I legit was like, nah. I'm not a huge Hulk Hogan fan.
I didn't walk down. I didn't walk down the hill while I was pretending to work to go see him. So that should tell you all you need to know.
He's got a big cane now. Apparently he's walking with.
He's got back issues, I think. Something like that.
Being a wrestler is hard.
Getting thrown on tables. That like the table thing's not fake.
The table gives way.
But it's still a freaking table.
It's still a table
that your 250-pound body's flying into.
Yeah, I mean, just landing on any of the surfaces they land on over time will. They pretty much all end up in terrible.
Right, like you sneezed and your back is broken. So
the guy that was the Mankind, what's his name?
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley. I saw an interview with him one time where he was like, getting hit with a chair is getting hit with a chair. Like we can try to make it a little bit more, but like you're still getting hit with a fucking chair. And like, I don't know why, but that like made a lot of sense to me. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
he's a legend. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
He is. Dude played. He was great. I did not know this, but my boss, the vice president of my department, is in love with Hulk Hogan. Like in all of that like 90s era wrestling.
Well, okay.
It's hard not to
90s
be.
era wrestling, fine.
Yeah.
Him personally, I don't know.
But you can see his mustache because the picture is like from behind and he's talking to like whoever, but you can see his mustache from behind. I thought that was pretty impressive.
I've never been able to get into wrestling, and I don't have anything against it. It's just like when given, and I think you're a big wrestling guy, right? So I don't mean any offense to this.
I don't care.
But like when given all the other possible sports to watch, I'm like, or I could watch the fake one that's scripted. Like to me, it doesn't make sense. But then I get that it's kind of, somebody explained to me one time, they were like, it's a soap opera for dudes.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, that makes sense to me. I just never watched it enough to get into it.
Also, us fans hate the word fake. We don't mind the word scripted.
Okay.
We know that with fake
Because they're still getting hit with a chair.
they're still getting hit with the chair,
Okay.
right? They get hit, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
And they put their bodies through absolute shit to entertain. So we don't like the word fake.
But it
It's
is.
fake.
It's fine. It's not fake.
Even though it's fake.
It's scripted.
Yeah. The outcome is predetermined.
The outcome is
And
predetermined.
would you say that it's choreographed?
Yeah, it's like dancing.
Sounds pretty fake.
Muscly dudes dancing.
Oiled up. Mm-hmm. There was a very big moment in wrestling that happened recently.
I got to watch it with you.
And I was over at Justin's house.
Hold on, I'm trying to rack my memory to see if I know the big wrestling moment.
Probably. It was mainstream media.
Was it Vince McMahon like turned out he raped a bunch of people? I saw that.
that?
He graped. Sorry, he graped them.
No. That was been like, yeah, damn it. That's been like 2 years ago.
Okay, that's the last thing I can remember wrestling wise.
But I'm the only wrestling fan there. There's 9 of us in total, and I'm just watching the show. When the pay per
When
views
you're
are
at the event, or you're watching it at
my
That was
house.
at his house. Whenever they invite us over on a Saturday night and there's something and there's a show I want to watch, I'll be like, yeah, I'll go over. I'm going to turn it on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stare at it the entire time, but it's going to be on.
We ended up all watching.
All
it
9 of us
intensely.
watched that. All 9 of us,
Okay.
the kids, the grown ups. I don't think anyone said a word for like 10 minutes, and we were just like. And I'm like, see, this still works because nobody else,
just
no one
sucked
else,
them right in.
no one else here cares.
Okay.
But
So what was the event that happened that was a big deal?
I mean, John Cena turning heel.
Okay, I heard something about that. Yeah.
I said it was mainstream media.
Okay.
What does turn heel mean?
Means
Turn
he's
to
a
a
bad
bad
guy.
guy.
Now. Yeah.
It's a
heel. Is
a heel or a baby face.
So-
Baby face, a good guy. Heel, a bad guy.
Did you see the movie about the Von Erichs?
That was good.
So
Very depressing.
Knowing very little about wrestling, the one thing I do is growing up in DFW, like I always had heard of the Von Erichs. Like I think they were still wrestling when I was a real little kid.
Yeah.
But like just from buddies of mine, they would be like, "Oh, the Von Erichs." So like I knew the name, and then I had to watch the movie, but I didn't know anything about. I didn't know anybody died or anything like that. And then watching the
It's
movie,
a
it was just like,
depressing
"Oh
movie.
wow, like this sucks." Like it was a good movie,
It's a
but
depressing movie, but
yeah.
it was good.
and it ruined Zac Efron for life. I'm convinced. I'm sure you've seen the face that his face is 100% different now, and he claims that he like tripped and fell and had to get plastic surgery because he busted his jaw. But no, it was the steroids. Like he did enough steroids, and it changed the shape of his face, and he's forever not as attractive as he was.
Yep.
So
Sorry, Zach.
yeah, he's still funny, but
Still Henry Cavill on my crush list.
ooh, Henry Cavill. There was a video I saw on YouTube or on Facebook the other day where they were doing like a Henry Cavill or blah blah blah, and like
Cavill.
that was the first one was Henry Cavill versus somebody, and then they ran through like 20 other people, and every time she was like Henry Cavill, and I was like, fuck yeah, Henry Cavill, the champion.
Before the other option even comes out, just
Yep,
Henry
stop.
Cavill.
It's just Henry
stop.
Cavill.
Henry Cavill or Henry Cavill? Henry Cavill.
You're wasting your time.
Yes.
I still don't know what he looks like.
You don't know what he looks like?
Superman.
There's been 94 Supermans.
The one that's like the most famous.
I'm gonna get a standee, like the little standee cutout thing of Henry Cavill that we can have in the background of an
Yes,
episode.
please
Yeah.
do.
Those things are expensive, by the way.
They're
I was,
not cheap.
I was trying to find one of Trump the other day, or this was a couple months ago. You can find them; they sell them on Amazon, but they're like $60 to $80 per like standee. Like, not cool. I thought that I don't know why. I figured they'd be much cheaper.
I had a friend in town who worked and made cardboard cutouts.
So I need to figure out how to just like make. I'm sure I could make one and
I
stand
don't think
up.
I've ever seen a movie with this dude in it.
The Witcher?
No, haven't seen it.
The new Superman,
Haven't seen it.
Mission Impossible, the one I don't know which one. There's too many of them.
Like you never seen this move?
The Count of Monte Cristo. Really, you should go back and see that. That's a solid old movie. That's old. That's 15 years old, but it's a solid movie.
He was in that.
So he was the young son, Albert.
Oh, he was in Deadpool and Wolverine?
So he was the Cavalrine. Did you see that movie? So you know when he's going through trying to find different Deadpools, and then there's one of them that's revving the motorcycle engine, and he's like, "Oh my god, they say it's true." You know, the Cavalrine. That's him, and that was
Okay.
a cameo. He would make a good Wolverine.
Yep. He's gonna be in. He's got a big hand in Warhammer.
That's another off of a game, right? Because he's a game nerd.
Yeah,
I think you.
He's a Warhammer.
We've talked
nerd.
about this, but you and him were very simpatico.
Yeah, I think we would be I mean, like, I don't have the money to play Warhammer like he does, but I would certainly pay attention.
Okay.
His
Hey,
eyes.
this doesn't have to go in the pod. Are either of you guys poker players?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to start like a monthly poker game at my place. I've got 2 people in already, but I was told I need 6.
What's the buy-in?
It's going to be cheap. So one of my neighbors a month or 2 ago invited me to a poker night at his house, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like a blast. And he was like, cool. He's like, normally like bring like 150 to 200. You'll probably lose about 100. And for me, I'm like, I'm not losing, like 100 is a lot of money. And like, I'm not cool with losing 100. So like, I want it to be more for the social event, but like a $20 buy-in or something.
Yes.
You know, somewhere it's 20. It's nice to win because then you win 80 or $100. Or I don't know. I don't really get how poker. I'm not a big poker player.
You split it. So, like, let's say that there is
At the end of the night,
if there's 12 people playing, you all put in $20, right? That's $240. You split it first, second, third.
okay. So
Not split evenly though.
So I love a good poker night. And in fact, I would love to play with you guys, good friends, and not douchebags.
They last forever.
That's it.
Say it
There
again?
has to be an end.
They
there has
last
to be an
forever.
end time.
okay, so I'll tell you this: I've played poker before, but I'm not I don't know the rules. So whenever we do it, I'll be asking like, "Hey, how should we do this? How should we do the chip?" Like, so I'm open to whatever anybody says.
There has to be an end time, and there's always. I'm sure most of your friends are nice.
It'll be
there's-
people y'all know.
The yelling's fine. I don't care about any of that. Have fun, do your thing.
You know.
It's,
He said you know.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll be. It'll
thought
be
you-
Matt
I
Castle,
said yelling.
Matt Castle and Key for sure because
Okay.
he's a degenerate gambler. He's part of the reason that So let me say this real quick because I have to finish how we got to here. That night, I ended up not getting to go to poker night at the guy in my neighborhood's house, but I was telling my wife, I was like, I'd love that. Like that just sounds like a fun game. Like get in the garage, cigars, like that would be a blast. And then just the other day, she was at Costco and happened to be at Costco at the same time as Matt Castle and Key. And Matt Castle and Key grabbed her and was like, you got to see this, and took her over. And there was a like $349 poker table, but it was like a returned item. And there was a cut in the leather of like the little pad that goes around it. But apparently that can be patched really easily. So it was $60, normally $349 or something. And he was like, buy this for Andy. He's been talking about playing poker, like get it. So she got home and was like, hey, help me get something out of my truck. And it's a big like ovular, like,
That's
Nice.
awesome.
anyhow, so now I want to have a poker game. I got a table. Sorry, go ahead.
There's always one person who just will get way too drunk. Could be me. Don't know.
Okay.
But I will also not be the person who wants to keep buying in over and over and over again until the sun rises and everyone else is so tired they don't care anymore. They just lose their money back. Like, okay, please just I need to go home.
I'll never buy. If it's $20 to start, like that's what I'm
buy-ins.
playing with. And once I'm done, I'm going to sit and watch y'all
I'm
play.
good with buy-ins, but there just has to be a time.
Gotcha.
Like, because if someone wants to go there and lose all their money and just keep throwing $20 at a time at you, fine.
Well, like in high school, when we were in high school, you're old.
Back in my day.
Back in your day, no. So like Texas Hold'em was real popular on ESPN. They had Poker Stars, all that stuff.
Believe it or not, I remember that time.
Yeah. So you
You were of age.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remember that time. Anyway, we had a friend whose parents had a huge like farm. They kept horses on there and they had like stables and stuff. And anyway, we got paid to clean out their hay barn. Essentially, his parents said, hey, we need all that hay gone. It's all bad. You clean it out. You guys can do whatever you want with the barn. So we cleaned that thing out in a weekend, and then we put in like 7 poker tables, and we hosted poker tournaments that went all night long. We did crawfish boils with it.
Nice.
This is when we were in high school, and like we were big into the poker
Is it
scene.
in New Mexico or Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Okay.
Called it the blowing alley.
We called it the blowing alley.
I mean, that's so the place where I used to work that you still work. They do anniversary gifts. So did you at any point get the anniversary?
Yep.
The chips for whatever.
Yep.
So I have that silver case full of they call them
I
chips.
did.
Chips,
I think
right?
I think I gave those away.
So I still have that. So I have that, and I have a new good poker table, and that's all I got. But when it comes to like, how are we playing? Are we doing buy-ins? Like, I'm open to whoever wants to grab the horns on that. I'll play whatever. I don't know how it goes.
Just give me an end time. That is literally my only.
Yeah.
I'll gamble more than like if I would go to a poker night and they said, you take $150, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Personally. But if you do that, there's always someone ultra competitive people there who are going to keep buying in and going to just keep playing until the roosters start roosting.
Unacceptable. You know a guy that works at the same place named Rex, right? I'm guessing you know Rex. Okay, so Matt and Rex are the other two. So I feel like it's a decent group.
Yeah,
Nobody's
fine.
going to get out of hand.
Yeah, they're
Would Darth Yoda join?
I'll bet he would. That'd be 6. And from what Matt said, 6 is the magic number.
6 to 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So anyhow, I'll make that happen.
Yeah, that worked.
No limit?
I have no idea.
That means you can bet I have all my money all in.
Yeah, I want that because when I get bored playing poker, I just start going all in until I'm out. 'Cause I'm tired of playing. So, have you read what's that book?
I'm listening to it right now.
Empire of the Summer Moon.
Yeah, I'm listening to it right
Okay, I've started to read it 8 times, but I've never made it through it. But
now.
I've
Dude, they were
started.
ruthless.
Yeah, so that's what I hear about it, that book. And that's one of those where I want to be a sophisticated guy. It's like, oh, I'm reading something right now, but I'm too ADD to like sit
you
and
started
read
it so you can say you're still reading
You are
it.
reading
I
it?
am starting,
reading
yeah.
it.
I've got it in like hardback on my like desk in my office, and I
have it on
I need to start
Audible.
listening to books on tape because I think that's the only
that's
way I
gonna
can
go
do
easier.
a book. Yeah.
Dude, I wanna read get paid to read books on tape.
So excuse me, my wife has been suggesting that to me recently because she's listening to a bunch of books on tape, and she was telling me how much these voice actors get paid, which this might not make it the final cut here. But are any of your wives reading this smut?
I'm leaving this in.
Are any of your wives reading these smut novels?
I think so. I don't know. I ask every time, and she's like, "No." I'm like, probably."
My wife and 2 of her friends are like always reading the same book, like in unison, and then they'll get together and talk about it. And as I'm like kind of listening, it's like, hold on, what? And like, she ended up finally, she was like, here, she's like, want to see like what kind of stuff I'm reading? She handed me her book, and I read like 1 paragraph. It's corn.
It's
like,
erotica. Yeah.
but it's graphic. Like, I assumed what do you call those? Graphic novel? I assumed it was more like he pulled her hair, or like he touched her supple breast, or just, no, it's
intense.
yeah.
He
like,
split her like a hot dog bun.
like, I'm very confused and it, like the women that I know that are all reading these are like, when you would just look at them, they're like the mom, the house mom, the soccer mom, and they're reading this smut.
They like to feel too.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
worse than graphic novels. Like,
It's pretty intense. Now, I'm also not going to complain. Things are going well.
why is it? What do you mean?
I can't go any further than that. But yeah, what's interesting is the fun questions. And this, like years ago, this is when we lived in Texas. It's probably 10 years ago. But my wife was reading, and I think it was that. What's the book and movie that started it all?
50 Shades.
Yes, she was reading 50 Shades.
I mean, I don't know.
I remember at one point she came in and she was like, I have a question, and like, don't make fun of me for asking. And I was like, okay, like what's going on? And she was like, what is fisting? And I like had to take a second, and I was like, okay, do I show her a video? Do I?
Yes.
And then like after I explained to her like the horror on her face, and she was like, why? And I was like, some people enjoy that. I don't know.
There's something for everybody.
But it's been funny, you know, 'cause I feel like once a month she's like, what is, or she's like, hey, I read this. I don't get how that works. And I'm like, well, again, I could show you a video or I could explain it to you, but
Just show her videos
Yeah.
from now on.
Just
Good
don't-
luck in Oklahoma.
Don't say a word and just
play.
yep.
Just walk out of the room and be like,
I don't know where you'd find it in Oklahoma.
there's one website left.
I found 2 now.
Okay, well, good work. I've heard there's one. I'm not actively looking like you, Kyle, because I'm a decent man. I'm kidding.
not.
I'm kidding. I'm so glad the one's still here.
This is like the original.
No, it's actually one of the crappier ones. Like, had I still had all my choices, this is a site I would never visit.
Yep.
But when you're cut down to that's all that's left, you'll happily take what's available.
If I gotta
Beggars
get my-
can't be choosers.
If I gotta get my fisting videos in, I gotta get my fisting videos in.
It's for educational purposes.
I was just
Exactly.
showing and telling.
If you're reading these books, you got to have a reference.
yes.
Yeah.
So you weren't like, let me show you?
No. Everything she's asked about has been something that I'm like, she's not going to do it, but she's curious as to what it is. So I'll
You
just
should just try it.
give her a quick
Try
run
and push
through.
some
Yeah,
buttons.
no. So,
Just try and push the buttons.
like I said, It's been interesting. You got anything else? You want to talk about conspiracy theories?
I think we have like a whole episode of. I think if we're gonna do conspiracy theories, we need to like
Come
pick
prepared.
one and then research it and actually have a discussion.
Can we talk about two things conspiracy theory wise, real quick?
Right now?
Yeah, this is going to be quick.
Sure.
So we had the final release of the Epstein files and then the final release of the JFK files.
Okay.
And they still gave us nothing.
Absolutely not.
Because is it heavily redacted still?
So
The
the Epstein
Epstein
files,
ones were-
they released exactly what Joe Biden released in 2023, except they unredacted a couple different things. Mainly every time Israel's name came up, it had been redacted and was unredacted now. But there was no smoking gun.
No.
And then the JFK files, they did release a bunch, but it's like, what kills me is with the Epstein files, like everybody kept saying like, we want to see the client list. And it's like, there's not a client list. Like he didn't have a list written down of all the people that were sexually abusing the women in his place.
Just
Like
write-
you don't write that down. So
Gotcha.
I don't know why everybody, and I say pretty much everybody like has it in their mind that there was going to be a list that he kept. Like that's not realistic.
Like a little black book.
Exactly. Like there's not a little black book. We have his phone book and we know who's in there. And there's a lot of people in there. He had, I mean, every famous rich person you can think of, he had 14 different numbers for Donald Trump, which I guess if, you know, back in the 80s when you'd have cell phones, maybe he had like an office phone here, an office phone there. And
Probably.
I don't know.
Car phone.
Anyhow,
plane phone.
but even like with the JFK files, like one of my buddies was like, man, he's like, I was sure the CIA was behind it. I'm disappointed there's not a document proving that. And it's like, if the CIA did it, do you think they
They would
memorialized it?
never put it
Like,
in writing. And
Here's the minutes from the meeting where we decided to kill JFK. So
Yeah.
to me, it's like we've seen it all. Like the fact that anybody thought there was going to be one specific document that
One
said
smoking gun
Yeah,
out of
and
the
here's how we
80,000
know it
pages.
was the Russians or the Cubans
go.
or the mob or whoever. It's
Why
the
was
high-
it so secret then?
So a couple of the Epstein ones, apparently the stuff is, even though they said they were going to release all of it,
yeah,
they
there's
ended
not
up
even
not.
there's not even close
But
to
most
all
of it is depositions. Like most of it's going to be depositions from the different cases, and there's going to be a lot of people thrown out in there. Like a lot, and Trump even when they said like, "Hey, will you declassify it?" He was like, "That one I'm less inclined." And then he said, "Well, because there's a lot of people named in there, and if they haven't been convicted of anything, it would just hurt their reputation." Blah blah blah. The JFK ones, it turns out like. A lot of the stuff that they put out now, like, oh, we were doing all kinds of shady shit in other countries. Like we, in France especially, like we might have been behind the attempted assassination of de Gaulle, who was the president of France back then. So like it just exposed that like, oh, we were definitely, like we had CIA operatives in all these different countries. So that's what they were hiding.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
We
think
do
about
now,
that?
right now.
If we didn't, I'd be upset.
Right.
Like,
Correct.
I know that certain countries have spies here, and if we're not doing it back to them, I would be a little butthurt about
I'm actually
it.
French.
Yeah. You're French?
I'm a French spy.
Damn it.
Is that where the mustache is coming in?
He's
Was that French or Russian? What was that?
cappuccino.
That's Italian.
Pardonnez-moi.
Threesome.
Moon baguette.
Mon chatois.
Menage a trois, yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So no, but that's
I'm Americanized.
I kind of stewed on the Epstein and the JFK files, and I got to tell you guys, like my goal right now is I think that together the three of us could start our own conspiracy, and like if I did this, I
I'm
would
not murdering anybody.
No, I want to make it like one of the dumbest ones possible. Because like every now and then, I'm sure we all see a conspiracy theory and we're like, who's believing this? And then you find out that there's people like Flat Earth. Forever, people that are really into the Flat Earth theory, I'm like, who are these people? But they're out there.
They're there.
Dude, I had a long discussion though on lunch at work. This one guy was like, "The Earth is flat," and I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna make some food, and then in 10 minutes, I just want
Pitch
you
me.
to sell me,
Yeah.
sell me on this."
I
Everything
wanna
you got-
believe it.
Everything you got.
Yeah. Was there
how'd it
anything
go?
he said where you were like, oh, maybe?
The only thing that I'm going to check on is he said the picture from the moon of Earth. Earth is tiny, and the moon is never that small in our sky.
Standing on the moon?
Yes. So homie took a selfie on the moon.
Okay.
He took a picture of Earth with like an Earthrise.
Okay.
From the moon. So he's literally the only person who is not in the picture. Legit.
Okay.
Because he's taking the picture on the moon.
Okay.
And the Earth looks tiny. But every time we look outside at the moon, it's freaking huge. And so I said, okay.
Doesn't make it flat.
Doesn't mean flat, but
Yeah.
he was trying to say that it's
That,
because
that
like
could prove something else to me that we've not
The
been
one,
up there.
so I'd love to know what picture though, because the one I can kind of picture an image just like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But my memory of it was that the Earth was huge, rising, like it was so big, and it made me realize, oh wow,
I think
look,
the picture you're thinking of is from like the ISS.
Maybe. Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't look massive, right?
It also would depend on what kind of a lens he's got, because in space, apparently, they use fisheye lenses a lot.
Oh, it looks pretty big to me if we're looking at the
Okay,
same distance
but-
away from the...
But if you think about it, the Earth is how many times larger than the moon? Like it should have been
yeah.
significantly larger.
Yeah.
This is the only it got me thinking.
But even there, though, that Earth is round.
correct. it's not
still is
spherical.
round.
Yeah. It could be flat. A flat.
Sounds like he convinced you we never landed on the moon. I think he got
I think that's
sidetracked.
more
Yeah.
more convincing to me.
Yes,
I'll listen to that. If somebody believes we didn't go to the moon, I think we did, but I'm also not sure.
Go ahead and tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
So I'm asking, so I am going to, and I told him I would. I will watch and see if the moon ever does, because I remember the moon looking very small, and I honestly thought that the moon's orbit around Earth was not perfectly circle.
Okay.
So there are points, or since we're on a tilt on the axis, there is a point where the moon is physically further away from where I am.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, if it looks tiny, I told him I'll take a picture of it and I'll text it to you. To there's the tiny moon.
Take a picture of it on your phone. It's going to look small as hell.
Exactly.
Which there's some kind of an optical illusion where when the moon rises, it looks bigger than it does when it's overhead. And apparently it's the same distance from us all the time, but it's us viewing it through our atmosphere gives some kind of a magnification to it. Or so I read something about that once. I don't know. But my goal though is let's come up with the dumbest, something that only a true moron would believe. And then I really think that all you have to do is make one well done YouTube video and put it out there. Because if you see a YouTube video and it looks official, there's a lot of people that just go, it must be true. This looks official. And I think we could do that. And I'd look for
If you spread it on social media, someone's going to be like, oh, you bet your ass.
As long as you sound confident with what you're saying.
Yeah. And you got to spew a lot of information and have nobody fact checking you. That's the key.
The retro encabulators and
Yeah.
Red dye 40 causes AIDS.
I've been sold on the whole red dye stuff. I've had enough moms tell me that. To where I'm
we
like,
could sell that one. It was just the first thing I thought of.
Okay, well. So anyhow, I'm going to keep thinking, but if you guys are down, I think we should totally just launch into the
If you're thinking, if you need someone to think of something entirely random, I'm your guy.
Okay, well, let's all put our heads to it because I'd like to jump on this. So,
okay.
anyhow.
So next episode we're going to discuss conspiracy theories and then start one.
Yeah.
So I say we save that for the next time we don't have any ideas.
Okay.
Which, every time we don't have ideas, I feel like we stumble onto some of our best
We just
episodes.
talk better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but next time we need an idea, it's conspiracy night.
That's fair.
So, anyhow.
I mean, we have 3 months worth of catching up to do.
What's sad is in my mind today, I was like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, we haven't seen each other in a while. I'll bet we'll kill a half hour on that.
kinda talk.
And everybody was just like, nothing. we got through that in 30 seconds.
I was legit crippled for 3
Sorry to hear
weeks
about
or
that.
a month.
Back pain, and we've talked about it, I'm sure, but back pain is just one of those where when it hits, there's nothing you can do about it, and you don't want to. For me, when I'm dealing with it, it's like standing, sitting, and laying down all hurts. So I'm just miserable. There is no comfortable
miserable.
spot to get into, and then because of that, I'm irritable and I'm mean to the people around me. And I try to apologize, but it's one of those where it's I'm in a bad mood because my back hurts. So please leave me the fuck alone.
Is it the worst kind of pain though? Does back pain beat other types of body pains?
It's got to be worse than childbirth.
Well,
There's no way that childbirth is as
not
bad
going
as
there.
having a sore back.
Not going there. I'm saying that there's one that is worse, and that is tooth pain.
Okay, tooth pain, yeah.
Tooth pain is awful. Eating, drinking, just trying to sleep.
I've heard this from everybody, but I've never had any kind of a toothache or anything. I've just never had anything like that.
Dude,
but I've heard that it's awful.
It is terrible.
Dude, I got the flu and my gums swelled up.
God,
had the
yeah.
word,
Yeah.
that was I was on a 7-day mashed potato only diet, and it hurt to eat mashed potatoes.
Sorry to
I
hear that.
agree. Tooth
Tooth pain
prob-
is so debilitating.
I still think you had something beyond a flu. I don't know what,
Probably.
but you something was going on there.
Yeah, I lost 12 pounds in 5 days, and
Yeah.
At least potatoes are filling.
yeah, but it sucked just eating boxed mashed potatoes.
My wife and daughter got that flu that was going around that everybody's running from, and it was one of those where immediately I was like, shit, I'm going to get that flu now. And I just somehow didn't get that flu. So,
get it? Nice.
yeah, very excited. So now we got the measles to worry about. We made it through flu season, and now it's measles season.
No, I'm vaccinated.
Measles?
So, yeah, I'm vaccinated. Yeah, have you not seen?
Nah.
And where the country is experiencing a surge in measles right now. And now forever it was only in a couple states, and Oklahoma wasn't one of them. Then there were 2 in Oklahoma City, and now there were 4 in Owasso, and they're saying that now it's 9, but I haven't seen that officially. But anyhow, so Yay.
Measles.
Yeah.
It was eradicated. It was done. It was proven to be effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Get what you get. So
That's
I say we bring back all the good old ones. Polio's next. Let's just give them all a little tour.
I saw a news story that there's still one person alive that uses an iron lung.
Really? Okay. That person must be old as shit.
They have to be old as shit. I didn't read it, but it was like, let's take a look into, you just open the MSN home screen, and I do follow some scientific stuff, like mostly space and things that we find out there. It's like, take a look into the life of the one person on Earth who still uses an iron lung. And I'm like, I'm not reading it, but interesting.
This same person who was trying to convince me of the flat Earth also didn't believe space was real.
I mean,
on.
at some point, you got to kind of think that space is real. I mean, what?
So yeah, hold on. So then what does he think? That's what I need to hear. When he looks up, what is that?
The firmament based on the Bible.
What is the firmament?
Yeah, I don't know
The
what that is.
firmament, it would be, so this is us. The firmament is this.
So there's a dome.
A dome
over and
over
then
the
is
flat
heaven
surface.
just above the dome?
The heaven is above the dome.
Okay, so
And the stars are the passageway for angels to come down.
So he's come. Both of these takes I am putting together now are very Christian related. That we were
Based on the Bible.
That we were created and put here. Like,
Oh wait, but is there anything in the Bible about the Earth being flat, or am I just
no.
No, but it does talk about a firmament. But I think, because I looked at the definition of firmament, and there's more
Atmosphere,
than one.
ozone. Like,
But that was, and I started it, and I said, "Hey, bro, if the Earth is flat, why do they call it the atmosphere and not the flat?"
because the scientists are liars and they're trying to trick you?
every scientist
Yeah.
ever.
I want to know what's the reason.
That's
Why try to convince me it's flat,
what's sad though is
or not tell me it's flat?
when you get into these discussions with people who like believe the Earth is flat, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, I can show you a picture from these different probes that we send up into space and take pictures back to Earth, and they go, well, I'm not going to believe that. That's fake. That's the government lying. to
Also,
us.
every
And
pilot of all time is lying.
any pilot that's had to learn how to fly on instruments, once you get your instrument rating, you fully understand how the curvature of the Earth works, VFR and all kinds of like. Anyhow, yeah, But my
Every
thing is,
pilot ever.
I used to think like, oh, if I could talk to this person, like I could probably show them using facts and Google and images or whatever. But it's like, no, there's not like the very first question needs to be, is there anything I could show you that would make you not believe what you believe? And they're going to say, no, there's nothing that you could possibly show me because that's all made up. Everything you might show me in your phone is made up. But it's like, okay, then this is the end of that discussion.
I just want to know why lie to us.
So the whole flat Earth thing, and I watched, this was a couple months ago, but I watched videos on this on YouTube, and they believe that there's an ice wall, and there's something beyond that ice wall that the government doesn't want us to know about. Now, there's no consensus on what that something is. Everybody's got a different idea. Sometimes it's a utopia type place. It's where the people that are really running things live, or it's a desert hellscape, blah, blah, blah. But for whatever reason, that's the government cannot let us figure out what's on the other side of that ice wall.
What about these channels beneath the pyramids?
That's interesting. Right?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Are there pillars and stuff under there too?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
miles long.
Yeah.
So that's
With coils wrapped around them.
that's my kind of fun conspiracy theory because it's like, hey, who built that? Don't tell me that they built that with no machinery and that's a fun one. I can get into that.
We built it when we came from Mars.
That was my favorite part. That was my favorite thought I saw on a Twitter thread was that when the aliens came, that's how they built that's where the atmosphere, how it was made and contained so humanoids could exist on the planet.
But all the machinery inside of there is gone now. Like, where did that go?
They took it back up with them. They brought it down. They brought it down and pick it back up.
They recycle. Like, we can take this and use it on the next planet.
And how they entertain their kids was with books like the Quran. And
I like that theory of yours. You
See,
can
we're
explain that,
back. We're back.
Yeah.
And all coming together. Okay, I'm buying all this now.
okay,
I agree with this.
Now that's.
so we gotta wrap this up before we exhaust those topics.
That's
I
true.
feel like I still
That's
see the
true.
sun. No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, that's good. It's 9 already.
So it's it's 9. I can get in bed on time still. This is great.
I only need 200 more steps. Let's do this.
work in the morning.
Let's walk into your truck a couple times.
Got it. Stop and get some more tacos. I'll bet it's closed.
That Southside BA, that's
Yeah.
closed.
Oh well, it was yummy. So good to see you guys again, though.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Good to see
It
you
was
all.
fun. I tried to convince everyone to act like we were giving you an intervention when you walked in.
Oh, that would've been
And then
dope.
you immediately busted into this guilt-ridden taco thing. And it was like,
tacos.
well, that was better than my idea. I don't.
I got tacos.
Oh god,
together.
feels so much better.
Sorry. That was like a. Sorry. That's what happens when you do too much THC. That's all I'm going to say. I had a plan when I got out of my car and walked up to the door. And then by the time I got to the door, my plan was out the window and I panicked. And I was like, I just ate tacos in your driveway.
I wish all the 30 viewers out there could have seen this. He walks in, I'm like, hey Andy, it's great to see you. And he's like, I had tacos.
2 of them.
I had 2 tacos. And we're like, okay. He's like, I wasn't going to tell you. What do you mean we're going to tell you? They're fucking tacos, man. I had tacos on Monday.
They were excellent, but what kind were they? Ground beef, soft and crunchy.
I was in a hurry. I didn't. The taco trucks can sometimes take a while, and I was in a hurry. So I was like, "What can he make quick?" And I got those, and they were delicious. But yeah,
But the
We should have been recording.
weight that left his shoulders when he said this was so funny to
I
me.
didn't want to lie to you guys.
I kind of feel like
You
it was,
didn't even have a chance.
Yeah. I feel like it's the same like weight lifted off the shoulder of a guy coming out of the closet. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man, he was very relieved to tell us, and it was a fucking dinner. It was just dinner.
Yeah.
we weren't going to judge you.
Well, on the way here, I was
He
like,
made us feel like there was something else.
on the way here, in my mind, I was like, I know when I get there, I'm going to get out, go to the back of my truck, eat on my tailgate, hide the evidence, go in, act like everything's normal. Like I don't
Everything's normal. That's dinner.
know. And then the
Well,
sec-
are you on like a regimented diet that we should be knowing about?
I have been. I've been back on my diet now because I started gaining weight back.
So it was you felt guilty about eating tacos instead of.
Also, if you're a large guy, if you're overweight, then I feel like anytime you show up with food, it's easy to be like, oh, of course he showed up with food. So I didn't want that to be, oh, and he couldn't drive over here without getting tacos.
That's like the most me thing to do, though. I'd get distracted and be like, oh, tacos.
Yeah.
And I just show up at a random place with tacos.
Which, coming from Texas, like, I was driving, we discussed this, but on the drive from my house to your house, you go through a food desert where, like, and I realized once I hit that, I was like, oh, I never had dinner. I need to eat something. And I knew there was nothing between where I was and your house. So I was like, crap, there's nothing. And then all of a sudden, pulling up to a stop sign, there's just a magical taco truck on the corner. And, like, as a Texas boy, like, taco trucks, I'm all about. And, like, I didn't even think about it. My truck just turned in, and I found myself standing there.
No.
Yep, no, it was so good.
Man,
Not like this.
the mental gymnastics this entire 2 tacos took in your head, I can't imagine.
So now it makes sense though, because now that I know you guys were talking about doing some kind of a prank intervention on me or whatever, like when I walked in, everybody was like, "Hi," and everybody was just looking at me, and I was like, "I had 2 tacos in the parking lot just now." Like that's all I could think to say.
It was a taco vention.
Yeah, everybody was looking at me, and I didn't want to be the guy that everybody was looking at, so I just started talking. That was all that I had on my mind.
All right, that was the best thing that happened to me today. Was the taco confession.
Yep.
Next time I'll bring tacos for everybody, and you guys can see what I'm talking about.
That's fine.
legit.
That's
And we can
fine. But
review them.
still, nobody will judge you for eating dinner.
Again, I'm not sure why I thought to hide it, but I just felt like I
sure
should
did.
probably hide it.
You sure did.
We need to go back to an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue so that I can put away some food.
You can't put away some food though. I've seen you try.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, hold on, we challenge you. The only time, so twice we've been to a Korean all-you-can-eat hot pot style buffet, and the first time I felt like we both kind of held our own, but I didn't know you that well then, so I wasn't like trying to impress. I ate till I was good, and I didn't eat any more. The second time, you said in advance, like, I'm really excited to go with you and like really put away some meat. So I went in there I was determined. I had a mission, and when you gave up, that was the only time I've looked down on you, Justin. I thought less of you as a man because you were like, "No, I'm done," and I was like, "You're kidding, right?'t?" And you're like, "No, I'm done." And
The
I
dichotomy
ate that
of man.
spicy sandwich.
you did eat the spice. That didn't help you at
The
all.
dichotomy of man of like, I'm going to out eat you in a meat battle competition and then walk into a room and confess my 2 tacos that I ate. It's just all in the same,
Yep.
I don't know, 45 seconds that this is lived in.
The thing is, I did confess to the tacos, so I feel better about it. I'll sleep better tonight. Had I kept that to myself, it would have haunted me.
I should have told them about the tacos.
You guys would have gotten a text tomorrow morning. Like, I'm really sorry. I need to get this off
Guys,
my
I ate
chest.
2 tacos on the way in yesterday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what would have went through my head. I would have been like, were they like laced or something?
No.
Did I
What-
miss a?
Well, and I didn't even tell, like, when I got, like, on the drive here, I was like, I'm going to eat on my tailgate. And when I got here, the 2 oldest daughters were in the back of your truck right where I pulled in. And I was like, shit, they're going to, like, they know. And then I just,
Son of a bitch.
yeah. So I was like,
panic.
I was like, I'm just going to eat in front of them and hope they don't say anything about it. And then the littlest came out and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm eating tacos. And then the 2 middle kids come walking out and they're like, what do you got there? And I was like, fucking tacos. So, like, my whole secret of eating the driveway.
Turned taboo.
Every time I've ever come here to record, I pull up and it's just us 3. Sometimes your wife is here and she leaves early on, but I pull up and every member of both families comes out to see me eating tacos. Anyhow, I think that was part of the reason I felt like I had
Why
to
did we
admit it.
save this for 2 hours in? That was really dumb.
I'm
This
gonna
has to
put
be
this
put
in the
in.
beginning.
Yeah, this
I
has to
know.
be put in.
I knew. I was like, if I don't mention the tacos, one of the kids later is going to be like,
We would have not thought twice about it.
Okay, thanks for telling me Andy had
They would have
tacos.
ratted
Also,
me
our
out.
kids would have never said anything about you eating
Nope.
tacos because they like eating tacos.
They do.
Well.
We go to a Mexican restaurant near our house.
Right next to the
Lots.
food truck.
That was the same parking lot, right?
Yeah, all the time. We go there.
The taco
all the
truck's way better than the restaurant. Just throwing that out there.
He said it.
time. Norma.
I did.
She's not watching this.
Norma, I'm sorry.
I've only eaten there twice, but the taco truck was better. So
You've only eaten at the taco truck twice?
no, I've eaten it.
Chavez.
Chavez, yeah,
Okay.
Travis.
not bad. It's Oklahoma Mexican food.
Okay.
She's Mexican, though.
Well, she's an Oklahoma Mexican. There's a difference.
From Mexico.
Anyhow, I feel like this is a good time to wrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time I'm going to secretly eat Krispy Kreme on the way here.
Yeah. Wait until that confession comes out.
Well, thanks for watching. Sorry it was a long break. We're back on our regular schedule once a week, letting these things out. So, Kyle, anything you want to say?
Bye.
Andy?
Oh, you're supposed to say like and subscribe.
Be sure you like and subscribe. Smash that like button is what you usually
Smash that like button.
I had 2 tacos.
Andy had 2 tacos. We'll catch you later.
Yeah.